Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting nippy up the crack, and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want, plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated public sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, August 25th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. We have a monster show. We have to keep a brisk pace. Coming in off a 5-1 day. Thank God. I can't tell you how badly I needed that. Crucial 5-1 day. We must stack winning days. There was a lot of winning going around yesterday. It was an excellent job by the squad. Rocco Rogers cashed that huge home run parlay. Canada stomping on France right now in the FIBA World Cup. It all feels good. My futures are all over Canada. Got some real juicy numbers. And this was sort of a no-lose situation. If we just watched Argentina and Spain win World Cups in soccer, losing a game. Sometimes you need to lose a game to wake up. But if you roll through France, you feel good about yourselves. We're going to keep a very, very tight pace. I'm all business. I worked my ass off on this card. This is, we're talking nonstop from about, 4 or 5 p.m. Yesterday, nonstop. And I've only made one bet. Except for NFL. We went 2-0. We perfectly scripted the Steelers game yesterday. So we not only cashed the first quarter plus half and the full game under so easily, but we also got to live bet the under exactly as planned with the Steelers dominating off the hop. And I've bet every single NFL game. So I have the Baltimore Orioles. I got in as soon as I could. I might have been an hour late because I was just so thick in the football. But I got it the -1 at -139. When I'd woken up, that money line was 18 cents different, and the run line was 5 cents different. So I imagine that we smashed that line. I'm excited. I'm excited, but we got to keep a brisk pace, and I'll need your help doing it. I'd like to give a shout out to everybody. I might not be able to today. Londo in the house. Londo running hot. Vipe and B, Ron Crawford, MLB spreadsheet play of the day is in the Tampa Bay Rays. It's love capping sports, and getting Wander Franco out of the clubhouse has sparked this Rays team. Let's copy and paste that right here. All right, and the big booty Latina play of the day, Londo running hot with this, is the over 7 in Rays Yankees. Let's get that up here as well. So you guys are all over this one. And we have fun today. I'm going to cap CFL and NFL with you as quickly as I can. Hopefully in 34 minutes, we'll invite DJ Big Boss for his 4 best bets in college football. I have capped those now. There is FAP Win. Look, he's unleashing not 1 but 2 loads today in Australian racing. The vat of lube is accounted for and will be in use. Shout out to our FAP Win. Copy and paste that. Stacks play today is Swanson. Dansby Swanson over 1.5 bases. Let's get that here above MLB. I'd like to spend time, talking about everybody's action and how everything went yesterday, but we got to make power moves. I think I probably can send 3 more minutes. But we got to make moves, and I got to work briskly. Perky Sanderson, Stacks is running real hot. And, the best quality of our show really is that we don't ask anybody for anything, and we're just transparent and honest with our action. So I absolutely love capping with Justin McElveen. He's been white hot. And don't forget, he's always hammering these plus money spots. Almost all of his spots are, RBI props at plus 135, over 1.5 bases at plus money. So if he put out the records the way I do, it would look much more impressive than 53 and 59. Reclaim James in the house. Pietro Diaz ready to get to work. talking about the data on the Action Network. If somebody could answer that right now for him, that would be great. Adrian A. Professor Chris bet his Phillies today. There's the nuke worker in the house. Arnillo ready to get to work. Fly White Mike. Brian Watson. Big Daddy Boom said took the Texas first 5 from Big O because Texas bullpen trash. You got your call on Texas. All of you guys got me off of the Twins. And I don't even remember what the final score is of that game, but I remember thinking that I would have been on Lopez. I would have expected Lopez to pitch well. You guys were money in the bank. There's Mike M, huge star here on our channel, and will just become a bigger one as time goes on. Isaac Torres, Gerald Jones, and Mike M says, where is it? Sorry, moving quickly here. All right, I'm way behind. Way behind. Mike M says, catch another pimp slot play today with ease, and we move to 7-0 in the NFL preseason play of the day. 7-0, Mike. Not Flush Allen in the house. He'll be representing, as others will, Pub Sports Radio in the $109 showdown, Sunday showdown okay, I have screaming out here. Okay, screaming outside. Doesn't sound like we need to call an ambulance. Let me just give it 5 more seconds. No ambulance needed. Okay, back to focus. And I got to focus here as much as possible. As much as is humanly possible. Oh, yes, Not Flush Island in the Sunday Showdown. That's 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to follow along. Another important thing is I'm taking off. Taking off with the family, going up to Blue Mountain for a few days, our last little trip before the heart of football that we attack. And I will no longer be around for them. You know, maybe I'll pick Ella up from school. That's about it. That's about all they're going to get from me. And so we're going away for a trip. So Monday Night Live will be hosted by Mike M. And Tuesday's show, who knows what the hell's going to happen? Who knows? Because it will be the Pete Loshak show live from Nassau in the Bahamas. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know what the hell that's going to be a wild show. Also, Jose off to Tennessee. So Big Show Pick's going to produce that show of Pete. God, I almost guarantee. I don't want to say it, but he won't be wearing much. He may be wearing a shirt. I'm expecting hedonistic abandon from Pete. We can't talk about this, so we got to stay focused here on the work. Okay, so let's get to work, you guys. We have so much to do. Jay's final take. What a monster cap with so many incredible cappers in the chat. Troy Torrance, my co-host in this year's the most important show to me. The Tuesday night NFL show. We've revamped it. Bankroll Blitz. 2-0 yesterday. I'm now 8-6 in preseason 9. I've bet every single game today and doubled up and won. And woke up and already beat 3 line moves. Already 3 of those 4 moves I beat. All right, we got to get to work. Lucas Ryan. Ron Crawford, happy birthday to the lovely Wendy. Please, Ron, send our love to Wendy. I believe it was our 34th anniversary this year, and Wendy is incredible. Incredible. What a team you guys are. Happy birthday to you, Wendy. Please know that you're loved from the whole Low Bag fam. And thank you for giving so much of Ron to us. I know that when your partner caps in our group, it's like an all intensive thing, and you share them with us so kindly, and we love you. We love you. All right, let's get to work. Yeah, Jay France. We do have to watch out for the first 8 minutes. It is facts about the 8 minutes of swearing. They have limited the advertising or stop the advertising on all our shows that swear in the first 8 minutes. So it's been important not to. I got to keep doing that. All right, Sammy Comer in the house. Let's get to work, all of you. Slatsy hit Orioles in the first part of the CFL teaser with the Bombers last night. That was us capping together there. Now, I got a little concerned when the line did move to 7.5 very late, but we were right. And I would have only lost a little bit of juice had I gone with the original bet, but the Alouettes had no right covering that first half. If you watch that game, there were 3 interceptions by Clara and 2 were returned for touchdowns. Winnipeg is a monstrously difficult football team, and we expect to see the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Argos in the Grey Cup final, and the BC Lions have something to say about that, but nobody else does. Okay, we got to get to work. Lucas Ryan, that Furia call was absolutely beautiful. There's Andrew Lilio Jameson in the house. Billy Friedrich, Wine Time Sports, Serious Business. NJ Stryker, Lee Lewis. What a great group. Kong's Clips. If I'm missing anything, Jose's got to... MacMan BD says we cannot count stats when dumbass position players come in and pitch. It's awful. If Seattle first 5 -0.5 for Big Ragu says just seen Singer. I'm going to need Jose to help me highlight these MLB picks in all picks because I've got to get right into the capping as fast as possible, and I've already been here too long. Deacon Mike, it's so funny, Deacon, that you say that because I honestly was like, God, Deacon's not going to like this. And I almost didn't, and I was sitting there, I was like, I almost didn't wear the hat today. But, I also thought, look, hey, Deacon's about to cash his huge bet on the Cubs season win total over. Why would he throw so much vitriol my way for wearing? But I respect it. I respect it, Deacon. But I did think about you before I did this. All right, let's get to work now. And Slatsy says I was on 4 days rest with one practice all week. The Bombers only had 5 days rest, but Slatsy, how crucial is that? You're absolutely right. Okay, we got to be intense here. I'm going to move quickly. I'm going to need Jose's help, and I'm going to need your help as well as we go through here. Let's get into the Canadian Football League right now. No, Perky. There's no way that Billy Friedrich is money in the bank. There's no way. It's somebody else. Somebody else. And we like you very much, Perky Sanderson. And we are a team here. We're a team here. So it's all good, man. Let's stay positive and let's focus on the work here. All
positive. Congratulations on your second winning day.
I think that in all honesty, the live bet gave me the first winning day in a row, and it shouldn't count for our show. And I said because I was actually 6-6 down a little bit of juice with my show bets 2 days ago. So you're a kind man, Jose, but it really is just one. And the that tough chick right there needs to win more. All right, Lamont Williams, I'm in. Yes, Slatsy says I can buy new boots. The live betting, what a treat. Okay, we got to get to work. And Fat, thank you for sharing that basketball. Or excuse me, I'm thinking Canada, France. Thank you for that horse racing action. All right, let's get to work right now. Christopher Comtine says, are those knee pads? If those are knee pads, I'm going to need a new picture. I'm going to need a new picture. If those are knee pads, that can't go on, Jose.
I don't know. I think those look nice. I mean, the boots.
If those are knee pads. That's the last time because I won't be able to defend myself from the onslaught. Okay, let's get together and go. We start tonight in the CFL. I would love to have Big Boss on in 24 minutes. I have action on every NFL game. I'm close in CFL, but it's not been a good season. The reason why I didn't make pregame bets in MLB is because, again, it feels like my ROI is much, much higher when I talk everything out with you guys. So I will go back to whatever's making me money. Calgary Stampeders 3-7, 2-3 on the road at the Toronto Argonauts, 7-1, 3-1 on the at home. They're not 3-1 on. No, that's their road record because they're undefeated at home. They're 4-0 at home. My bad. I was moving very quickly last night. Moving very quickly. Okay. BMO Field in Toronto, Ontario. 71 Fahrenheit, clear, 8 miles per hour will be the win. Now, we all remember what happened 3 weeks ago. Because 2 weeks ago, we had... Yes. 3 weeks ago, Toronto went into Calgary. There were people in the chat were saying, should we add Toronto to all our action just on the money line to juice our bets? And we said, don't do it. Never do it. It's just not, it won't work in the long run. And then you can just screw yourself over. And Chad Kelly got hurt in the second quarter and the Stamps won 20-7. They controlled the clock the entire game. What happened the following week? For Calgary, they tried to control the clock against the BC Lions at BC Place, and they got destroyed 37-9. They could do nothing. They couldn't run on the Lions. They could just do nothing at all. Jake Maier is unable to stretch defenses. It's a shock that I'm saying that. We thought that, moving Bo Levi Mitchell out, let him know he's the number one. You got the great quarterback, Dave Dickinson, as his coach. You would think that he would be able to take care of business. That's not being the case. He's been a problem, and the Stamps are a problem. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Stamps are 3-7. They've won just one game at home at McMahon, but they're on the road here. We've had some buyback. I mean, you can imagine that Dickinson, who's not known for his creativity as a coach, is going to go right back to the well. There are 10.5 of running the ball and trying to control the clock, and trying to keep Chad Kelly off the field. We're now sitting at 10. A half-point move over to 10. And look, I want to bet unders in Calgary Stampeders games. I want to. They run the ball as much as possible. They want to control the clock. Jake Maier's unable to really go deep. I know he has a lot of interceptions this year, but I still see him as a pretty thoughtful quarterback that doesn't really, throw everything. He doesn't risk ridiculously. This total is sitting at 51, and it opened at 50.5. And if you're betting unders in these Argos games, you are losing. There's Jacqueline in the house. Great to see you, Jacqueline. Big Ragu says I'm on a 2-day bender with a gallon jug of vodka for trackside. All right, I got to stay focused here. So Toronto comes in off their bye week. What have we seen from these Canadian teams that come in off their bye week? Lackadaisical. They're not focused. It's uncanny. This is a lower budget league. These guys get away for a week. They come back and they're just not locked in. We see horrible first halves and bad first quarters. And that's what we see over and over and over again. Now, in that game in Calgary, of course, Cameron Dukes came in and was inept. Absolutely inept. If anything happens to Chad Kelly, the Argos are in big trouble. That's a long-term thing. The Argos are strong against the run. I want to say that that's not a legitimate thing. I want to say, oh, well, they're always ahead and teams have to throw on them, but they're very good with the average yards per carry against. They're good against the run. And in that game, when the Stamps won 20-7, Jake Maier only threw for 149 yards. I don't have it. I believe he was 22 for 24. He kept everything very, very clean. But he's been so disappointing this season. So disappointing. And the Argos offense is absolutely electric. I mean, you throw in that 7-point horrific display. They're still averaging 33.5 points per game. They're coming off the 44-31 win at home over the Redblacks. That was just an extremely impressive offensive opportunity. Their first two drives were 2 and outs, and then they completely dominated. But they're coming off of the bye week. Calgary comes in off that tough 19-18 loss at home to the Bombers, who were playing without Zach Collaros. And, with all this said and done, I guess I like Calgary early and Toronto late, but the issue with these teams coming off the bye is real. They just don't seem to show it ever. Can I trust Calgary? Like, would I want to bet Calgary first quarter? I don't think I can trust them for 15 minutes. Slatsy says riding with the under 51.5. Maier's been horrible. Under 6-0 last 6 and 4-0 last 4 in Toronto in the Calgary series. Risky play, but I have to play it. 31-16 gets there. I like that. I don't know if I can get to the window. That's what I want to do, Slatsy. I want to bet the under. These Argonauts, they're so dominant at home, and they're in the Rebenga in play from 3 weeks ago. So what would that mean? That would mean that maybe I would prefer Stamps team total under. Well, you guys know I almost never bet the dog team total unders unless, it's an NFL spot with a journeyman safe quarterback who we know is not going to try. Is going to just try not to make mistakes and try to keep his team in the game. Those are the only times I can do it. I'm nervous to do it. I kind of like the Stamps early. I kind of like the team total under, but probably not enough to get to the mill. Our guy Vitalis at the Peppermill in Reno all day and night for week 0 and Premier League. If anyone would like to join in cap games and drink, please come. Respect to our friend Vitalis. Equipment says 9.5 tricky number, draws the line between close game and blowout. And Nuclear says Argos minus 10.5. That spread will go up. It's at 10 at Pinnacle. And I you could have got it at 9.5 this week. And there are still, I don't know, Bet Chris has moved it to 10.5. Bet Online has the 9.5, but the Argos 9.5 minus 118. You're probably right. I'm not sure if I get to the window, but I have a drive ahead of me after the show, and I will think it out. Let's move on. Saturday, August 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern, the Hamilton Tiger Cats 3-6, 2-2 on the road to the BC Lions, 7-3, 4-0 at home. We're at BC Place in Vancouver, BC. It doesn't matter what the weather is. They say it's a retractable roof. It's absolute bullshit. It's like all my life I dreamt about being able to look up at the stars at a beautiful summer night and watch the Lions play, and then they gave us this retractable roof, and you get like just this tiny little bit of a night sky. It's garbage. It doesn't matter what the weather is. Lamont Williams. Okay, I guess I'll have to tweet it to you, DM it to you. But I know it's because this is going to take time. When you give someone a birthday pick, it has to be the best pick. But have an incredible birthday weekend. And we'll all work together on this. And we're probably going to have friends and family. But I have to work very, very quickly. Ronnie and Burgess says he actually hit twice this year playing the under Toronto. The Atlanta game against Saskatchewan was one of them. That was a great look. But I mean, that helps when the Saskatchewan Roughriders only put up 13 points in that contest, and you probably got in on the Calgary game when Toronto only put up 7 points. But I respect it. Look, I like it and I respect it. Nuclear said it's 10.5 as well. Dan Kelly says, will you have a show for Saratoga tomorrow? Unfortunately, no, Dan. Look, the personal ensign is today. A Clara is running my favorite horse, 5-year-old mare that I'm absolutely in love with. My favorite horse on the planet. And I'll be betting Clara. And then we have, the Travers Stakes, the Jerkins also tomorrow. And huge races. And no, I unfortunately, I'm taking the kids in the Blue Mountain. There's a family thing going on up there. And so sadly, I can't. Okay, so let's talk about this next spot. And it breaks my heart that there's no Travers Stakes show. Tiger Cats coming off the embarrassment of allowing the Elks to win their first game of the season, 24-10 at home last week. The fact, and I almost bet this right before the show, but time was a factor, and I wanted to make sure that I had all the work done on every game, and I just didn't have time to kind of sit there and take the picture and send it in or whatever. But the only thing holding me back from already being on the Lions is Vernon Adams hobbling all over the field. And I just feel like I need to know exactly. It makes me want to lean to the under is what it makes me want to do, and probably bet the under. But then you could also, I know I just said I don't like taking road teams under, dogs team total unders. But when do you want to take a dog team total under? It's when you have a quarterback who is incapable of big plays, horrible in the red zone, throws short passes, so keeps the chains moving. And that's what Taylor Powell is for the Ticats. He's a gift. He's a gift to all of us that we need to make money off of. This is sitting at 10 at Pinnacle. There's a lot of 10.5s, but it's at 10 at Pinnacle. This opened at 10. But we do have 12 cents of movement for this towards the Lions. And from a total side of things, it's sitting at 46 now. Bowdogs moved it to 45, bet Chris at 45.5. My guy says BC Lions going to smack that ass. There's Nate Dog 420 in the house. Slatsy says Lions first half minus 6.5. The second part of my teaser is Lions minus 4. I like that. I like the first half better than the full game. I really do. And I guess I like the full game under better than the first half because Dominique Davis has got to get in there. You just can't leave Vernon Adams out there hobbling around hurting. So the Tiger Cats have a 3-day rest advantage. That's probably going to help. Hamilton came off their bye week and put up 10 points against the Elks. The Lions coming off that ugly 34-29 loss at Saskatchewan last week. They're an angry group, but Vernon Adams threw for 455 yards, 3 touchdowns, hobbling all over the field. He was forced to because they were way behind. The Lions receivers are deadly. Legitimately, I don't remember a group this good in my life for the Lions. I do not remember a group this good. And, from the Dirty 30 days of Jim Young, I mean, there's going to be a lot of old heads who are going to feel that's blasphemy. But I don't personally remember a group this good. And they're first in the league in passing yards per game. They're going to smash and grab is what I think. I think they're going to smash and grab. And the first half is most confident, so I'm certain I'll be there. I also feel like the first quarter is probably a look. I do think that the issue here is Vernon Adams banged up. So I guess after talking it out, I really like the Lions early. So I guess because I had first half full game here, I guess I changed that to probably first quarter, first half, and then I like the under. But would I prefer the Ticats team total under? Yes, I should have cashed the under in the Lions Stamps game. That was 37-9, and I had 45 and a half, and I went to 46. And Dominique Davis was not going to score any points, but there was a late interception, that field goal to take it over. But if all I had to do is take the Stamps team total under, and I think that's what I do here. I think I take the Ticats team total under. I take the first half and the first quarter BC Lions, and I think we call it a day. That's my plan. That's a triple up spot, though. All right, let's move on. And this one I'd like to move on. Now, this goes against the plan that a lot of cappers have for this game. So I did want to talk it out before I bet it. Ottawa Redblacks 3-7, 1-4 on the road at the Edmonton Elks, 1-9, 0-5 at home at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, Alberta, 77 Fahrenheit, sunny, 4 miles per hour. Let's go right to the line history here for this one. And then we're going to get into NFL, and I moved on every game. And so the difference with the CFL breakdowns and the NFL breakdowns is I kind of feel locked in NFL. I know I'm only 8-6, but I'm just so excited about Bankroll Blitz with Troy Torrance. I'm so excited about the season. I need the season so badly coming off this tough baseball season. And I've struggled in CFL. And so I wanted to talk out those games. In the NFL, I'm just going to tell you what I'm on. And I'm just going to roll through it quickly and tell you what I'm on because I bet every game. So I should be able to move a little bit quicker because we got our guy, DJ Big Boss, coming to us live from Las Vegas, Nevada to give us best bets in college football. So the pace is okay. It's going to be a little slower here. This total in the Ottawa-Edmonton game is 45.5. And you have a Redblacks team that leads the league in rushing thanks to Dustin Crum, who's coming off a horrible game. You have Trey Ford, the new quarterback for the Elks, the best Canadian college football quarterback of all time, who played for Waterloo. So this total is at 45.5. It's juiced to the over. It has not moved since it came out. It's not moved since it came out. From a point spread side of things, this is a pick'em, but Pinnacle does not have it as a pick'em. Pinnacle has moved this 2 days ago to Ottawa +2. And now that +2 is juiced to -118. The Redblacks come in off that disappointing 25-24 home loss to the Alouettes. It was Ella's birthday party, and I was getting all sauced up. And it was, I think, 24-10 at halftime. And I just thought I was going to cash this. I wasn't able to watch the game. I didn't realize that Dustin Crum wasn't able to move the ball on the Alouette secondary. I just thought I was about to get that papier. Dustin Crum followed an excellent performance against the Argos with this disaster last week. The Alouettes came all the way back and won 25-24. Dustin Crum was 14-19 for 130 yards and 1 interception. He did run 4 times for 42 yards and 1 TD. Ottawa, as I said, number 1 team in the league against rushing yards per game, 124.9. And the Elks are horrific against the run. The Elks come in off their best performance of the season in an impressive 24-10 win at Hamilton. They snapped their 13-game losing streak. Trey Ford has given them life, has given them hope. They have a 2-day rest advantage. Are they going to stop this horrific losing streak at home? Look, I don't want to bet on them that they will. And Andrew G saying Ottawa has a terrible O-line. He's right. And Crum has to run all over the field. But Trey Ford in that last game was 13-18 for 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, did not throw a pick, kept it clean. He also ran 5 times for 60 yards. Kevin Brown ran 16 times for 89 yards. The run is going to open up the pass. It's going to open up play action. And I like overs in this football game. Now, I've been on overs with the Elks against the Tiger Cats, and that was horrific. It was rouge after rouge. We have past 8 minutes after motherfucking rouge. And it was my low point of watching Canadian football. I didn't want to watch another Canadian football game. Rouge after fucking rouge after fucking rouge. I think this game goes over, man. I think this game goes over. I've not seen anybody on the over. I've only seen people on the under. I think Dustin Crum is angry and shows out. I think Trey Ford has confidence with this offense. I think that the running is going to open up the passing. I think this game goes over. And now I got to put my money where my mouth is in this house of fucking whores in Edmonton, Alberta, Commonwealth Stadium. Seats 60,000. There'll be about 12,000 there. And the more I talk about it, the more I want to fucking bet it. I want to double up on it first half and full game and put my goddamn money where my fucking mouth is. I've talked it out. I don't care who wins this game. I would like the Redblacks too because I believe in Dustin Crum, and I kind of like Edmonton losing and losing and losing. They used to call themselves the city of champions. Lose and fucking lose and fucking lose and fucking rouge, fucking rouge. First half over, full game over. Let's move on. No, Ryan, my man, that is coming up with Dabra Cadabra. That is the CFL breakdown. So I need a little bit more time with this game tonight, Stampeders Argos. There's so much going on with Rebenga, and kind of like the Stamps early. I think Toronto's going to be sloppy early. They have a tendency of being sloppy early, but then they just show that they're the best team in the league, even though I think the Bombers have something to say about that. So there you go. Lions, first quarter, first half, and Ticats team total under. The Ticats, it might be a better bet for the first half Ticats team total under 2 as well. And I don't know if that's available. The first half team totals a lot of books. But the Lions defense got destroyed in the papers, destroyed for their performance in Saskatchewan. And then I'm going to be on the first half over and the full game over in Ottawa, Edmonton. Okay, let's go. NFL, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to move fast here. And as much as I really want to know what you guys are doing here, I will use Canadian dollars, Deacon. I will use Canadian dollars. You're a good man. Thank you. I need just to roll through my action here. But I really want to know what you're on. So, Jose, if you could you light up the chat when they tell us what they're on the football game? I want to smash tonight. I want to have a real nice ROI going into the season. These games mean a lot to me tonight. And I love capping the preseason, get you sharpen up your utensils for week 1. 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, we have the Detroit Lions, 1-1 in the preseason this year against Carolina Panthers, 0-2, 0-1 at home, Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, 87 Fahrenheit, clear, 4 miles per hour. Dan Campbell going up against Frank Reich. Let's get right into the line history here, and let's get right into the cash flow as well, even though it doesn't matter because I've bet these games already, and I'm so goddamn pumped up about them. Let's move over to NFL, and let's go. Who says that preseason football doesn't pump you up? Who watched the Steelers last night? God damn, I was pumped up. Fucking preseason football. Let's go. First offline history. Detroit, Carolina. We'll go over to Pinnacle. Pinnacle holding the Detroit Lions at plus 4.5. They opened up at plus 2.5. Look, I know Dan Campbell doesn't care. Oh, it's dropped. It went back to 4 for a little while. It's now at 4.5. Look, I know that Dan Campbell doesn't care, but good God, do the Carolina Panthers look awful. Now, we scripted the Panthers last game against the Giants. We went in pregame on the 2.5. It moved to 3 while, the show was on, basically, right? And show. But I told you guys it was going to be so simple. The Giants are so much better. And we had people in the chat saying how much better the Giants were than the Panthers. The Giants took a big lead. I got the live a plus 9.5 and plus 13.5 on the Carolina Panthers at Real Sports Bar in Toronto, right beside the Scotiabank Center. It's supposed to be the best sports bar in the country, and it was horrific. The Jays game wasn't even on. They had golf, tennis, and a talk show on, and nobody was doing anything. WrestleMania was at Scotiabank that night. Nobody was doing anything. They were all just sitting around eating as if this is what people want to watch when they come to a sports bar. There was preseason NFL. There was the Blue Jays game. There was 35 TVs. Every TV should have a different game. I'm never going back to Real Sports. What a shithole. I hope that somebody can talk to the management at Real Sports and tell them that this is supposed to be the number one sports bar in the country, and it's a fucking joke. Okay, so let's move into that total here right now. It was absolutely atrocious. And it was Ella's actual birthday. We had just done the CN Tower. It was her birthday, like telling her about this sports bar, how great the sports bar is, and sports bar shit. This total is very low. It's at 37. It opened up at 37 on Monday, minus 108. It's moved 1 cent 3 days later in the direction of the under. Look, it's a very low total. It's a very low total, and that scares people. Panthers have 68% of tickets and 85% of the cash. And the 67% of the tickets and 93% of the cash are on the under. And look, do you want this total to go down to 36.5 and 36? Yes. Yes, I do. I do. But it's not going to stop me from betting the under in this football game. I bet it under 37. Dan Campbell, 2-6 in preseason. Frank Reich, 8-8. Dan Campbell has not played his offensive starters for the first 2 weeks, and he's not expected to play any here. Both teams have a common foe in this preseason, the New York Giants. The Lions opened up their preseason with a 21-16 win at home over the Giants. They had Sudfeld, their third stringer. He was 15-28 for 194 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. And then out of K-State, Adrian Martinez, undrafted, their fourth stringer, finished the whole game off with a quarterback sneak. Then Detroit lost 25-7 at home last week to Jacksonville. If we are wondering if these teams care about losing badly in front of their home fans in the preseason game, Arthur Smith answered that. And the answer is no. They don't care. They don't care. Dan Campbell's not like, oh, God, our fans bought tickets to this game and we were atrocious. No, he couldn't give a fuck. They put up 131 yards of offense. Sudfeld was 9 of 18 for 80 yards, a touchdown and a pick. We got to see Teddy Bridgewater. He was so pedestrian, 5 for 11 for 34 yards. The Panthers opened up their preseason with an ugly 27-0 loss at home versus the Jets. And I made the mistake of thinking that this mattered to Frank Reich, that he didn't want to, start his coaching in this way. And it was a mistake. Now, we still scripted the game perfectly. Bryce Young has been bad. He was 4 of 6 for 21 yards in that first game. Corral came in 15-22 for 126 yards in the pick. They put up 165 yards of offense. Then they followed it up with that 21-19 loss that we scripted. Bryce Young was 3 of 6 for 35 yards. The Panthers looked awful. Corral 9 of 13 for 71 yards. Jake Luton, that's who had to come in. Jake Luton, now he was only 2 for 7, but he threw a touchdown pass. They got back in the game when they went up against the Giants' third and fourth stringers in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Giants 13-0. Frank Reich said he's going to play his starters on offense. Who cares? They're bad. And even if the Dan Campbell doesn't care, doesn't play his starters, the Lions aren't going to score, and their defense has depth. They have legitimate depth. Christopher Comensini says if the Panthers' first stringers can't score versus Lions' third team D, they're in serious trouble. All right, so I'm on the under 37. I'm on the under 37. Billy Frederick says Panthers drafted the wrong QB. Already bet Panthers to be the lowest scoring team this season at plus 1,200. That's wild. I love it. Gerald Jones says rain expected as well. I had clear here. I had a clear, but we'll talk about that because the Notre Dame Navy weather is changed. It could not be raining at kickoff now. It's possible. Okay, so it looks like it'll dry up by that point, but we'll get into that. Okay, so that's game 1. I'm on the under 37 in Lions, Panthers. Let's move on to game 2. And let me pull up Bet 365 because that last one was the only one that the line hadn't moved and I didn't beat. The other totals I've beaten here, still at 37. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. I moved on the under 38.5 with confidence in Patriots Titans. I bet the Titans with less confidence at +2. But I bet the under 38.5 with a lot of confidence. Vrabel versus Belichick. Two men that know each other very, very well. We only have 2 more games in NFL, and then we get into college football with DJ Big Boss. So first off, this has moved to 38. This total has dropped a half point. It moved to 38 at Pinnacle at 8:22 this morning. I bet this all last night at like 2 in the morning. Let's take a look at the spread in this one. Point spread here. We have it's sitting at 2. But, and this is helpful, and I didn't know this, there's been an 11 cent, at 10:19 a.m. there was an 11-cent move to the Titans at +2. That +2 is -120. That tells me it's going to come down. I like seeing that. Yeah, Billy, I thought there was going to be no rain too as well. And Nate Dogg on Tennessee money line. I love it. And Dan Kelly impressed with Mikey M 7-0 preseason start. God damn, Mike's going to be a monster this year. He's going to be a monster. Remember, Mike M was not part of our NFL pop-up coverage last year. He'll be on the opening Sunday. I promise you that. Patriots, Titans, Nissan Stadium. Belichick versus Vrabel. And BJ saying hammer the Bills tomorrow in NFL preseason. Okay, thank you. I'll copy and paste that. I've not capped those games, so I'll put that right above Lamont Williams' birthday. Okay, if I can get through this in about 4 minutes. And Nasty Nate says Titans easy work. And Nasty Nate knows this Patriots team inside and out. So if he's fading them in a situation, that bodes very well for us. Oh, maybe I'm miscommunicating. Maybe Nasty Nate, is that a riddle? Titans easy work. Can you expand on that? All right, let's go over to the cash flow here for the second game. We only have 1,554 tickets in. We know that 88% of the tickets are on the under. We don't know the money if we trust this stuff. On the spread, we have it 50-50, but 86% of the cash on the Patriots. And look, generally, I wouldn't even move on that. I wouldn't even... Generally, I'd be nervous. And Billy Friedrich saying everyone needs to get in the Cappers contest. Thank you for mentioning that. Huge means so much to us. Thank you. We need everybody in the Cappers contest this year. We had 66 last year. We need 200 this year. We want $20,000 up for grabs. Pete was the winner. Oh, they will be easy work. Okay, they will be easy work. Okay, no, it's all good, Nate. All good. There's our guy, Razor Sharp Picks in the house. Okay, so Belichick 51-39 in the preseason. Vrabel 7-9. The Patriots opened up their preseason with an ugly 29 home loss to the Texans. Zappy was 12 of 14 for 79 yards, didn't throw a touchdown or a pick. Malik Cunningham was the only bright spot. 3 of 4 for 19 yards, ran 5 times for 34 yards and a touchdown. In game 2, Mac Jones got some snaps. Mac Jones. And then Bailey Zappi looked better, going 10 of 22 for 117 yards and a touchdown. Also ran for a touchdown in a 21-17 road win for the Packers. The issue, and everybody's been talking about throughout the preseason, is the injuries at the offensive line. They've got cluster injuries at the offensive line. Onwenu and Cole Strange are out of the lineup. And they can't lose anyone else on the offensive line. They can't. So they're not going to put any important pieces of the offensive line out tonight. They have to protect them. And because of that, no one thinks Mac Jones is going to play tonight. Because you don't want your starter out there with this, second and third stringers on the offensive line because the quarterback will just get smashed. So it's Zappy, McSorley, and then maybe we see more of Malik Cunningham under center. If the first half is extremely low scoring and you expect Malik Cunningham to come in the second half, then you can think about a live over, even though they're very dangerous in preseason. Titans opened up their preseason with a 23-17 loss at the Bears. So look, we got this ticket count here. 1,554 tickets in, and the big bets have all come in on the Patriots. And I don't get it. Malik Willis, 16-25 in that first game, that 23-17 loss at the Bears. Now, the Bears early with Fields dominated that game, and then Titans clawed their way back to only lose by 6. Malik Willis was 16-25 for 189 yards, no touchdowns in the pick. Will Levis was 9-14 for 85 yards in a pick. Then they followed that up with an pretty impressive 24-16 win at Minnesota. And Malik Willis plays the entire game. Now, he was just 10-17 for 85 yards and a touchdown and a pick through the air, but he ran 11 times for 91 yards. And the fear of him running also set up Julius Chestnut. When you need to keep someone to spy on Malik Willis, and he moves up to the right, and then he flicks it back to the left. Chestnut had open ground, and that could easily happen again. Chestnut ran 13 times for 98 yards and a touchdown. BJ's on the Titans plus 2.5. I love seeing that. There's my guy Browns Hughes in the house. He knocked me out in our poker tournament and will receive the $25 bounty that comes in. And because Browns Hughes is in America, I'll pay him in American because he's a good man. The Titans ran for 281 yards against the Vikings. So, obviously Belichick is going to prepare for that with backups. But that was an issue. Vrabel hasn't said whether Tannehill plays. I've heard some people think that Tannehill is going to get a series or two. I don't think he's going to get any series. I expect Willis and I expect Levis to get another shot. Now, both Titans games have gone over. They both have gone over. I don't think this one does. And it's already moved to 38 from the 38.5 that I got it on. So I've doubled up there. I got the Titans plus 2. And I've got the under 38.5. Let's move into our final game before we get into college ball. And this is another one that I moved on. And this one I moved on with quite a bit of confidence. And everything I read from people, everything I saw online and stuff about this game, because of my Niners, at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, 65 Fahrenheit, sunny, 15 miles per hour winds, was that to bet the under. And I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. And I will have interest in betting Easton Stick and the Chargers live in this game. Supposedly it's the showcase for Trey Lance. So this line's gonna move to 7.5. That's a crazy line. That's a crazy, crazy, crazy line. Let's go into the line history here for this one. We have the Niners sitting at minus 7.5. That's a big spread. I can understand anybody who would want them early, but Easton Stick is going to get more and more comfortable, and he ran for 60-something yards last game as well. It's a 7.5. This 7.5 was even money. It got to plus 104. It's now minus 103. But we've had a 1.5 move towards the San Francisco 49ers. And from a total perspective, this is now at 38 at BetChris. I like seeing that. It's at 37.5 at other books, 37.5 at Pinnacle, and it's minus 111 to the over. There's been 3 cents of movement to the over. I'm on the over. I'm on the over in this one, and I will explain it here. We know that Brandon Staley doesn't really care about preseason 2-6, and Kyle Shanahan is a competitive dude. He's 11-9 in preseason. Let's go over to the cash flow. Go over to the cash flow for this one. We have 66% of the tickets and 92% of the cash on the Niners, and it's moving in that direction. On the total, we have 44% of the tickets and 60% of the cash on the over. I kind of like those numbers. Not Flush On says 49ers are going to leave Lance out and run plays to make him shine. There's our guy, Parlangel. Great to see you, Parlangel. Gerald Jones says that 7.5 is ludicrous. BJ says Backwoods. A reporter said Purdy looked awful in practice, so Shanahan playing him. The 49ers have a horrific schedule this year. We're going to be able to be really patient and see when we want to move on them in the futures market. We certainly don't need to move on them early. But the Chargers opened up their preseason with a 34-17 win at SoFi over the Rams. Easton Stick looked good. 14-21, 109 yards and a touchdown. He ran twice for 12 yards. They picked up 214 yards on the ground. Elijah Dotson had a huge day. He ran for a 40-yard touchdown. He was 6-92 for 6 carries for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. They followed that up with a 22-17 loss at home versus the Saints. Stick played the whole game there. He was 21-41, which, that's not the best completion percentage, but 233 yards, and he threw 2 picks. But he ran 7 times for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. The rest of the running game was nowhere really to be found. The Chargers are not expected to play any starters. The Nick Bosa holdout hanging, over the Niners. The Niners defense is so deep, though. They opened the preseason with an ugly 34-7 loss at Vegas. Aiden O'Connell. They let Aiden O'Connell dice them up. Trey Lance was 10-15 for 112 yards and a touchdown. Darnold was 5 of 8 for 84 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. And Brandon Allen was bad. 5 of 8, 36 yards and a pick. They followed that up with that 21-20 home win over the Broncos. Purdy got a few snaps. He was 4 for 5 for 65 yards. He led a field goal drive, and that was his first action since the UCL tear in the right elbow in the NFC Championship. Darnold and Lance battled for backup job. Darnold won it. He in that game was 11-14 for 109 yards, touchdown and a pick. Lance was 12-18 for 173 yards and touchdown and a pick. Darnold, the winner of the backup job. So it's a Trey Lance show tonight. I think Easton Stick can get more and more comfortable. I think even if this game goes low scoring early, we can look at moving on a live over. And I'm pretty confident in my spot here. Jeffrey Moore says, anyone have the Niners to win the Super Bowl? I'm telling you, if you're interested in the Niners to win the Super Bowl, you're going to find a spot this year where you're going to get a much better number. There's no need when they by far the worst schedule in terms of rest. By far, and it's the worst schedule any team's had in, over 10 years. I don't remember the exact amount of years, but we're going to be able to find a spot if you want to back them. Okay, so there you go. Those are my 4 bets in NFL preseason. We're sitting 8-6 plus 1.2 units. ROI is what the hell is ROI? ROI is plus 8.57%. Look, it's not the 12-2 we did last year, but we're in the black, and I want to be more in the black. Okay, so there we go. Under 37 in Lions, Panthers. Under 38.5 in Patriots, Titans, and the Titans plus 2, and over 37.5 in Chargers, Niners. All right, it's time. Week 0 is here. Football, baby. Violence. Oh, God, I'm so excited. Put chess and violence together, and you got football. Oh, man, what a year we have ahead of us. College, NFL, CFL, 3/4 of the way through the regular season. And our next guest, not only is he such a quality human being, but he brings so much fun to capping, and he excels in college football. Now, the Mountain West is where he does it best, but this guy has put money in our pockets ever since he started running with us. And he is the head of Who Bangin' Sports Talk. Please welcome DJ Big Boss to the show. What up, Big Boss? How are you, man?
What up, though? Can y'all hear me out there?
Yeah, man. You and is this McBoss Burgers in Vegas?
Oh, yeah. We've been doing real well in Vegas, man. We had to expand McBoss Burgers over here. Ever since we brought out our half-cooked, half-off sandwich, we tweaked it a little bit in Vegas. Now we're using dry-aged beef that's been sitting in milk crates in the back of the senior center with the senior panties on them for at least 24 days. And then we pull that out, cook it on one side. You do the rest. We give it to you half off. Come to Big Boss Burgers, and get these in Vegas now.
Oh, respect, man. You cook one side and you do the rest, man. Fucking respect, man. If it gets it to us for cheaper, we're in.
Exactly, and that's what's been going. It's so hot out here anyway. You set the burger on the front, you get it medium rare. You're doing great. So sales are out the roof, man. They're loving the buy 3 and we give you 1 deal. It's just extraordinary out here, man. I just love it in Vegas, man. The business is taking off. I think I'm gonna be here permanently.
I get it, man. I get it. I fucking get it. We have DJ Big Boss and McBoss Burgers coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada, and it is Christmas for you, Big Boss. Week 0, so you head to Las Vegas to celebrate. I am ready to get to work. Also, what an opportunity for you. Week 0, the first college football game of the year, and your Notre Dame Fighting Irish with Sammy Hartman at quarterback start off the season. Are you pumped up for this one?
Absolutely pumped up, man, here in Vegas to go ahead and lay some bets in 0 week right here. Broke this game down pretty couple times. I looked at it a couple ways. I mean, right off the bat, the under correlates with Navy, and the over kind of correlates more with Notre Dame. But we had to pull it back a little more. The Navy's over there, new head coach, also new offensive coordinator, but they pretty much promoted from within, so they pretty much going to have the same offense, the same defense. Now, many of them look at last year's game, which was like 35-32 or something like that, and they say, getting 20 points is crazy. I seen it was all the way up to 21 for a minute. I see it came back to 20 and a half, and people look at this game all different ways. At the beginning, I wanted to jump on the under, being that Notre Dame is going to return with defense. That's what Freeman does. He does defense. We seen it last year. He's going to return. The problem is on offense, and they made some steps on offense, although they lose Tommy Rees as the offensive coordinator. They bring in the tight end coach, Gerald Parker, move him up to offensive coordinator. So basically, this probably the same offense, but maybe tweaked a little different. We're going to need some new talent in the wideout area, but we got a nice running back staff, even though we lost Diggs to Alabama or something like that. But no, that was Reese to Alabama. But we lost Diggs to another SEC school, which kind of shows that, he was a quality player, made it over to, those guys. But anyways, we're going to be all right in the running back spot. The O-line is going to be coached up. So they look good on paper for sure. Now, in this game, I'm going with Notre Dame minus the 20.5. Last year at halftime, the score was 35-13. This was a game that was played late in the season. They kind of left the back door open and actually gave them a chance. A lot of foolery and all that kind of stuff. I am going with Notre Dame, but I'm not a true backer in Hartman though. He got to show me what he got. I mean, Wake Forest. It doesn't hold much value to me. I got to see it on the field. So we're gonna see what the offense got right here. But one reason I usually take Notre Dame when they're at home, I usually take the under because Notre Dame doesn't want to embarrass Navy. We've won a lot of money at that look, but Freeman beat me a couple times last year on the total, actually going over in games versus teams who we were highly favored. So I think he's going to cover that 20.5 this time. The Navy's in a transition, even though they did allow more weight for the military teams again. So you got some defensive linemen and offensive linemen now for the Navy. That's 315, those higher weights now because they changed the regulations. So I don't think that's going to play anything in this game. Notre Dame has the talent. They have the coaching. We the big brother in this situation right here. So I'm taking Notre Dame minus the 20.5. But the offense of Navy, they're planning to try to throw a little better this year, so it could crank up a little bit. But I'm still not too sure of the total, man. But I don't really. I'm leaning more towards the over than the under in this situation because Freeman's a Ohio State guy. He's known for running it up, and the situation that Notre Dame is in right now, we got to run it up. We got 3 tough games this year. We got to play Ohio State. We got to play USC, and we also got to play Clemson towards the end. So we got to run it up to stay in the polls and try to move up. So I'm packing it in. It's not a fan bet. It's a well thought bet. And I'm taking Notre Dame minus the 20.5.
DJ Big Boss on the Irish minus 20.5. Yeah, my man.
And I also look to catch him first half too, whatever the spread you can get right there. I just expect them to come out and just take flight. And, it's in Ireland. They've been there for a few days. I believe the weather is great over there. No, it's going to be a little rainy. I think it's 67 degrees, a little rainy.
Yeah, I can go. I'm going to go over all of that for us right now, and then I will also wanted to move over to that first half as well because that's a spot I'm leaning towards. And I think I may pull the trigger after we just talk a little bit more about the spot here. There is a 10.5 at minus 118 available at Pinnacle, but that's the best line that you can get, and it is juiced to the minus 118 for the first half for the Irish. So Aviva Stadium in Dublin, 60 Fahrenheit. So the showers are going to stop during the game. They're going to stop doing it, but it's showering now. There are going to be showers all day. There's showers at 6 p.m. Their time, right? Because they're 5 hours ahead of the East Coast EST. So, but during the game at this point right now, and people can double check that there is no showers within the first 20, 30 minutes of the game. So we have a couple things you mentioned. It was mentioned in the chat, the cut blocking, and then we have no longer stops after a first down. The clock no longer stops after a first down for the majority of the game. So that's going to be a factor a lot, and we're going to have to see how much of a factor it is throughout. So let's pull up the line history here. That first half, by the way, over at Pinnacle, this first half opened up at minus 10. At minus 110. That juice got up to minus 127, and then they moved it to 10.5. It actually got up to minus 132. Then they moved it to 10.5, and even that was juiced to minus 116. That's come down. That's come down. So, oh no, it hasn't. It's still, sorry, it had gone down to minus 114, but it's back at minus 120. I'm on the site. It says minus 118. Or it just moved to minus 120. But so it's 10.5, minus 120 right now is the first half. The full game here is, here we go. The full game is 20.5, and it's juiced right now at Pinnacle to Navy. But this opened up at 18.5 and has moved to 20.5. So there we go. Then we're going to move over to the cash flow. The total. Sorry, got to do the total as well. This total here, it is sitting, I believe, at 49. Let's just it's taking a second to load. Let me just speed that up. Here we go. We have it sitting right now at 49. 49 right across the board. And Pinnacle's moved it to 48.5. I wonder if they had never moved it to 49. Let's double check that. They had it all the way up to 50.5 on Wednesday. They had it at 51 on Monday. So they've moved it down 3 points to 48.5. That is fascinating and catching me a little bit by surprise. 46% of the tickets and 66% of the cash on Navy. And I think Big Boss touched on that here because of the final score, not the first half, but the final score of when they met last year. For the total, you have 39% of tickets and 53% of cash on the under. It sort of feels like that is a sharp look on the under, but it might have been weather related. So, Marcus Freeman, you talked about his defensive abilities as a head coach. I'm high on Hartman. I think this is a great opportunity. You talked about Parker. Do you have high hopes for what he's going to do? Did you like him in West Virginia?
I'm not too liking the West Virginia feel of it, but we need a change though. Tommy Rees, he was kind of setting his ways and what he does, and we'll see what he does over there at Alabama. I felt more like we needed a new face in charge. We need to do some different things. We're out of the Brian Kelly era. We're moving into the Marcus Freeman era. We got to set some stones in place now so that we can build on it. And Tommy Rees, he's a great coach. Offensive coordinator, shall I say, and he's blossomed. He blossomed through the years. He deserved the upgrade, the money, however you want to look at it. He's doing a progressive thing by leaving. So he's left the space open for somebody else who's been under him for a little while. He was a tight end coach. So I expect, tight ends pop on the pass, all kinds of stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting over there. But to add to that first half, though, I got Notre Dame scoring 3 touchdowns to 1. With Navy, that they'll slip up somewhere. And when they was getting that last game last year, it was just blown open through the middle so many times in the second half. It was like they had found something special. They didn't had all summer and everything to prepare for that. I don't see that. It's going to be a struggle for Navy to score in this one right here. But Notre Dame, they're going to handle business.
I am leaning in that direction. I think I just want to touch on Navy before I want that first half on my card. So we have Brian Newbury, the new defensive coordinator, now promoted to head coach for Navy. We talked about the changes on offense. Now, Gleaton left spring thinking that he was going to be the starting quarterback here, but he's been hurt through a lot of the last little while. So it's Lavatai and Horvath, and they're both supposed to get run on Saturday. They talked in the chat already about this strong offensive line. You touched on the 315 pounders. Grant Chestnut comes in as a new offensive coordinator from Kennesaw State with them trying to incorporate more passing. I do not see how that's going to go well. Navy's defense was bad last year, but they have 9 starters returning, and we can expect it to be better. The secondary was absolutely atrocious, 11th in the ACC in pass efficiency defense. We have guys who know Hartman intimately here, and they don't think he is as good as I do. And you guys know him better. I mean, Justin McElvey. McElvey wasn't the only one. There was another. Was it Alfred, as a lifelong Wake Forest fan, I've never been wowed by Hartman. He says the Heisman talk is just crazy to me. I think that the domination here will be in the form of a first half, and I wonder why this total's gone down with the weather looking better and better and better. I fear that Notre Dame might take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit late in the game. But you were saying that you don't think that will happen. You think that they'll keep the gas pedal down?
No, I think they'll lock it up first half, and they'll let a couple more scores get through. And as far as Navy and the Kennesaw State, look, Kennesaw State and Navy pretty much run the same offense, and supposedly Kennesaw State passes it a little better, and that's what this guy's supposed to bring to this offense. So it's the same offense. It's just they're gonna be throwing the ball. Notre Dame last year had a lockdown secondary sometimes on certain teams, and I wish you would throw the ball. So we might be in one of those. They might do better off running it right back up the middle if they want to even have a chance to win, because throwing it might not be an option for them. So everything just keeps pointing back to Notre Dame. And I think I told you, I initially wanted to take the 20 points with the Navy, being that I felt Notre Dame, that's always an angle of mine. Notre Dame's never in there to try to embarrass the other team. They just want to get out with the win. And when we at home, we do a good job of that. But in Dublin's, all the extras to this game. And then I go back to last year's first game against Ohio State, where Freeman had them prepared good. We might have lost that game, but that was one of the best games we played of the year, was the first one coming out. So I expect the same kind of preparation, and this is a way lower class team. I expect Notre Dame to look like a top 10 team coming out of this game.
Very, very exciting. We have DJ Big Boss doubling up on the first half, minus 20.5, minus 118. The full game here. We got picks from Dave in the house. I hope you guys caught the unmuted mic last night. That is a show that's going to grow and grow and grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm going to grab you I'm only going to be on the first half, I expect, at this point. I don't want to have double ups to start out the year. I wish I did that and everything. But the best 20.5 we can get you. Oh, it just moved 3 cents. It was minus 104. So it was minus 104 when you locked it in. So we'll give you the minus 104. It's now just moved to minus 107 here. Okay, J Dub saying Unmuted Mike was a great show. It is a huge show. It's gonna blow up. I really believe that. Okay, I'm gonna be on the Irish first half. That was Navy Midshipmen, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. We won't spend as much time on the other games, although the San Diego State Aztecs are another team near and dear to your heart that you know very, very well. Snapdragon Stadium, San Diego, California. The Ohio Bobcats are a team near and dear to my heart. If you are a Rourke brother, then I believe in you. And Curtis Rourke back from that ACL tear last year. Let's go into the line history here for this one. 78 Fahrenheit, sunny, 9 miles per hour is the wind here. Ohio, San Diego State. San Diego State sitting at minus 2.5. This opened up at minus 3.5. Well, now we're sitting at minus 2.5. That's a big move. Now, yesterday afternoon, I should say, this moved back to 3. And then at 8:30 in the morning, back to 2.5. So it's moving, all over the place, but 2.5s right now. Bet Chris has that 2.5 at minus 118. We know how important that number 3 is. So that's what we're sitting with here. San Diego State as the favorite. Let's move over to the totals in this one. And this one is sitting at 48.5. Bovada has a 48. This opened up at 49.5 and has dropped a point to 48.5. Nate Dogg looking at Ohio plus 3. And let's pull up the cash flow then for this one. Ohio State, San Diego State. 64% of the tickets, 67% of the cash is on the over. But the market not moving in that direction. And then we have 63% of tickets and 72% cash on Ohio, and the market is moving in that direction. Ronnie and Bergie is saying a Bobcat spot. San Diego State, 10-1-1 all time against MAC opponents. This is not your regular MAC opponent. This is a team on the rise. Tim Albin has done a great job with this program. We talked a little bit about the clock no longer stopping after a first down for the majority of the game. going to be a bigger deal here. We know what the Aztecs want to do. They want to have the ball. They want to run the ball. They want to dominate a time of possession. Rourke has a great offensive line in front of him. He's got a 1,000-yard rusher returning. He's got 3 top receivers returning. This is the first time this Bobcat team has won 10 games since 2011. Their defense got better as the season went on. And for the Aztecs, Jalen Maiden, can't wait to hear your thoughts on him. Obviously, Ryan Lindley's done an impressive job with him. Lindley, such an impressive job that he's being promoted to offensive coordinator. But this offensive line did not protect him. It needs to improve massively. Take it away for us here, DJ Big Boss, Bobcats, Aztecs.
This is a good one, but this is not my this is not one of my main spots on my card, but I'm definitely going to be getting to the window with this one. Now, Mountain West, San Diego State, I already capped them early. No, I don't believe in Jalen Maiden. I don't think that ex-quarterback Ryan Lindsay can come in as offensive coordinator and help that much, because San Diego State wasn't the biggest it was the biggest passing team when he was there, but they still not in the tradition of passing the ball there, run first school. So this year, the line's going to be able to open the holes for the running backs. The passing is still going to be a question for San Diego State. And as far as the defense, last year the defense took a step down from what we normally see from San Diego State. So we don't have, I would say, if you looked at the Mountain West overall, Wyoming has a stronger defense now than San Diego State. But at one point in time, San Diego State with Rocky Long, when Brady Hoke first came in here, they had that lockdown defense. But not so much in today's age. I think the wrong team is favored in here. I think Ohio should be -3 in this one. They're coming off of a MAC championship loss, a close one. Like you said, it's been a progressive team. This guy shifted this team around tremendously in 3 years. From I think his first year, he won 3 games to the MAC championship. He was 10-4 last year. And this year he returns 9 on offense, 6 on defense. Now, no excuses for his defense. His defense is still a question. But not only will they score, they should score often. And I've seen San Diego State play out of conference before to where some weird way they end up scoring. So I think San Diego could put some points up on the board and Ohio can put some points up on the board. So I like the over a lot, but I'm getting to the window with Ohio because I think, like I said, the wrong team is favored in this one. I'm even going to put a little sprinkle on the money line for sure. And I'm also got to take that 3 or 2.5, whatever they give me. Ohio should run it up to a point where San Diego State has to throw the ball to catch up or whatever. First team to score, first quarter, first quarter to win the first quarter, any of those little bets right there, all Ohio, because even though San Diego State's a well-tuned defense, they're going against one of those high-octane offenses that they don't see a lot in the Mountain West. So I like Ohio with the chat, with you, Jimmy, and everybody else.
And nice job, Justin, getting the 3.5. Wine Time saying public hammering Ohio, and line went back to -3 for San Diego State. It did for a second. Do you still see it at 3? That would be an important part, because what we have here at this point is, 63% of the ticket, 70% cash on Ohio. Do you want to pay for the 3? +3 is -121. Do you want the money line too? What do you want to make official for record keeping purposes?
Oh, give me the +3 for record-keeping purposes, but I'm definitely going to be sprinkling something on the money line. I seen it downstairs last night in the book. It was +114. Not huge on the plus side, but it would be nice to get a nice plus money bet at the beginning of this 0 week in college football.
Wine Time is making a good point, and Morgan Spooner as well, saying, hate when dogs are this public. Good luck, y'all. And you will be, for your own action for fun tonight, betting the over, but not making it official here.
Yeah, not making. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it official to the window, but the over is starting to make. And I just started looking at that from reading the chat and reading, how I'm portraying the game, and yeah, I think the over might be a little stronger bet. I might get to the window with that one before the Ohio bet, or maybe both. I don't know, but I'm still up in there about the total, because there's a possibility that, because San Diego State, they did some good local recruiting out there, so They got some of those big Tongan and Samoan guys at linebacker, and they also got K. McDonald coming back. They got a stud linebacker crew over there, so they could bring the defense because defense is all they got. I mean, they did slow down. Who was it? A few years ago, I seen them come out first game against New Mexico State, but New Mexico State next to Ohio, that's different. And Mountain West last year, they did bad out of conference. Mountain West is changing the face just like Pac-12 is. So I'm rolling with the MAC, man.
You got it locked in. Let's roll on and head to Nashville, Tennessee, First Bank Stadium. The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors at Vanderbilt Commodores, 88 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour. Of course, Vanderbilt absolutely destroyed Hawaii, gave Timmy Chang a rude welcoming to FBS football, 63-10. Let's move to the line history here for this one. First, we'll start with this total. This total sitting at 56. Sitting at 56. It opened up at 53.5. We've moved up 2.5 points over at Pinnacle. Let's move over to the spread here for this one. We have it's sitting at 17.5. It is juiced to Hawaii at 17.5. This opened up at 17.5. We've seen it go to 17. We've seen it go to 18. And here it is back from whence it started. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. We have 49% of the tickets, 62% of the cash on Hawaii. And then from a total scenario, we have 48% of the tickets and 69% of cash on the over, and the market's moving in that direction. Nate Dogg on Hawaii plus 17.5. Jake Burns on the over. And then we have Vandy minus 17. Wine Time has a play on Hawaii plus 17.5. Says he doesn't like this Vanderbilt team at all. And this is going to be a 6-hour time zone different. Well, this is in Vandy. Right. So it's not in Hawaii. So last year it was in Hawaii. This year it's in Vandy. So, okay. So let's roll on to this one. So we talked about Vanderbilt just, destroying Hawaii last year on the island. And everybody expects with Braden Shager coming back and Chang with his second year in control that this will be a much improved football team. For Vandy, they were 5-7 last year. Their team total wins were at 2.5 this year. It's at 3.5, so it's not like this enormous belief in them. AJ Swan gets the keys to the car here for Vandy. The offense returns starters, 7 starters, but of course, Ray Davis transfers to Kentucky, so they lose their 1,000-yard rusher. The defense struggled last year. They're a horrific secondary. I mean, both defenses were just awful last year. Take it away for us here, DJ Big Boss, the Rainbow Warriors at the Commodores.
Yeah, this is one that I snapped, and I wanted to take Vanderbilt right off the jump. Hawaii not doing well, man. They still have problems on the offensive line. They still have problems on the defense. The only thing positive about Hawaii is that the second year for Timmy Chan installing this run and shoot offense. They got some talent in the skill positions, so they might be able to, get the ball in some places and score some points at some times. But overall, versus Power 5 school ATS on the mainland, they're 2-5. It doesn't look good for them on the mainland. I never really liked taking Hawaii on the mainland. So they're going over here to Tennessee, Hawaii to Tennessee, ladies and gentlemen, to play a football game in casual Tennessee, 97-degree weather, humidity 58%. I think it just adjusts well for Tennessee. And after watching a little tape, I just seen that Vandy's got way more talent, way more size. They manhandled Hawaii last year for the 63-10. Now, I don't think they hold them to the 10. I expect Hawaii to score a little more with the run and shoot coming in there. But I do expect Randy to run it up on them. Outside the conference is some of the few chances that these SEC teams on the bottom half of the SEC get a chance to even, run it up or do any of that. So last year it was 63-10. Won't be quite 63 this year. Maybe something around 50, 49 to like 17 or something like that. So it's going to be a little bit close. It's going to be a nail biter, but I think that Vanderbilt is going to get over that 17.5. they're going to blow them out by like 20, 24, somewhere up in there. But it'll be a long game with these offenses throwing the ball and all that stuff so much. So it'll be a long game, but we'll eventually get the cover on that one.
Vandy minus 17.5 at minus 104 for DJ Big Boss. Big Boss. All right, let's move into our final game. And let me say, Big Boss, what a treat is to have you back in action with us, man. I just absolutely love capping with you. I got a chance to come over to the spot and hang out with you and the fam just a couple months ago, and I was very, very thankful for the opportunity to hang with you and your sweet fam. San Jose State Spartans at number 6, USC Trojans. We're at Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in LA, California, 81 Fahrenheit, sunny, 6 miles per hour. What a tale of two different stories. I mean, you have the USC with Caleb Williams, absolutely monstrous season. Heisman, all that good that could have happened for USC happened, and then on the other side, you have the, death of Camden McWright and everything falling apart at San Jose State after we made so much money off of them thanks to your guidance in 2022. What a tale, just two different situations here, and can San Jose State bounce back from the debacle of last season? First off, USC ranked number 6, 31-point favorites. They opened at 30.5. They're at 31. The initial move was to 29.5, but it's sitting at 31 right now. Let's take a look at the total for this one. This total is, sorry, taking a second to come up. Let's refresh that. While that's coming up, let's pull up the cash flow and figure out what to do here. The total sitting at 66. High number, but when that USC offense is in play, we're going to see 60s nonstop and higher. This opened up at 63.5 and has climbed to 66. Big Ragoo says USC team total over for sure. Wine Time Sports says this USC defense is awful. Of course, Wine Time there in LA. King Kong's Clip says also USC team total over 48.5, and Wine Time says he's all over San Jose State plus 31. Says the public hammering USC, and it's a bad defense. San Jose State has a decent offense, and I see no problems with them keeping this game close. Wow. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this is our final football game before we break down the baseball card. We have 59% of the tickets and 73% of the cash on the over. And on the money line, on the spread, we have 25% of the tickets on San Jose State and 30% of the cash. That is interesting. These guys met in 2021. 13.5-point favorites were the Trojans, and they won 30-3. That Mountain West Championship in 2020 was the best. I mean, that we were dealing with the pandemic, and my God, was that fun, boss. The last few years for watching San Jose State's program climb up has been very, very helpful for our pockets. They opened last year to losing by 8 at Auburn, and then everything. Then it didn't fall apart right then, right? They had the 2 conference games where they looked good, and then everything fell apart. Can Brennan, I don't know, put the pieces back together? Wine Time thinks so. 9 returning starters on offense. They have Cordero, and then you have Caleb Williams coming off a year of 42 touchdowns and 5 picks. USC defense was bad last year. Is it going to be worse this year? I mean, last year they allowed 424 yards per game. Take it away here, Big Boss. Our final game here for DJ Big Boss Burgers, Best Bets, Week 0 with DJ Big Boss. Take it away, Spartans, Trojans.
Hey, you said it all in your breakdown, though, and it's just like that. So basically, USC is just loaded on offense, coming back with the quarterback, Lincoln Riley, coaching, everything's loaded. And yes, Lincoln Riley, I said this at the beginning of last year, just because he came from Oklahoma, he's a high offense coach. He bring his bad habits with him, and that's the defense. He struggled for years at Oklahoma coming up with a defense, but he tries every year to try to get it better, but he just hasn't got over that hump of that defense, and that's what he's going to have to do to get to the next level where he wants to be. So everybody's saying like the performance of the defense last year. You don't think Lincoln Riley went to the tables over the summer and said his defense sucked? The reason he's in Southern California is to pick up these recruits, these California linebackers and DBs that play at a high level. So that's why he's here. So of course they're going to be trying to do something to fix that for sure. Will they fix it 100%? Probably not, but they'll make attempts at it, each game to do it. Now, Brent Brenner, you said everything Brent Brenner got to offer. He's been here for 7 years. He gets 9 back on offense, 5 on defense, and he has Quentin Cordero. Well, guess what? Quentin Cordero bounced around the Mountain West. His level is not Power 5. He's going to be outclassed in this game once he gets hit by some of these big dudes. Even though these USC defensive linemen and stuff, they don't win save games and all that good stuff. They still big. They still physical. And once he gets hit a couple times by those guys, we're going to see a different Cordell. We're going to see that dark side of him. So, yes, I'm with the public and everybody else taking that minus 31 with USC. But contrary to that over 66, I say we might could go under that 66. That 66 pretty high with a USC defense that's going to be trying to prove that they can play defense. So they're going to come hard at San Jose State. They're going to force Brenner to pull a rabbit out his ass. And in the 7th year, like you just explained about him, I thought he was on his way. I would have thought I thought he'd be out of here by now, to tell you the truth. And there's a reason why he's not out of here by now. Either he's not that level coach to take it up to the next level, or he's just sitting on his hands or happy where he's at. So he's producing the win to keep his job. He's 7 years in. He could be here for another 3 to 5 years, and he doesn't have to win this game to prove it. So I'm going with USC. They're going to be playing at home on a Saturday. The expectations from the alumni for USC is always get us back to the Pete Carroll days. Get us back to the Reggie Bush days. Get us back to we was blowing out teams 52-10 and all those strange numbers. That's a good win. All my USC buddies that I corn with all year with the Notre Dame stuff, that's what they're into. They just think, fight. They're going to just blow everybody out. So first game of the year, Lincoln Riley got to do it. The defense got to show up. They got to make San Jose State look bad.
I love it, boss. Minus 31. I'm going to have to sit longer with this one here on my drive up. I've got to think about what Wine Time's saying and think about your expectation of the defense to really show out. Coin saying this total seems 3.5 points too high. I got burnt trying to get under some of these ridiculously high totals last year with USC, even though it was a very, very good season. Yeah. So I love this. Let's review DJ Big Boss's action here for us. Opening up his account here on Betting with the Bag. He's on the Irish first half minus 10.5, minus 118, and full game minus 20.5, minus 104. I'm going to be on the Irish first half. He's on Ohio plus 3 at minus 121. I expect to be on it as well, but I have a Dave Rogers in my head a little bit, and I'm going to I may not bet that today. I may want to sit with that tonight. Big Boss is on Vandy minus 17.5, minus 104, and then USC minus 31 at minus 108. Big Boss, first off, a couple things I want to ask, but first off, tell us about what's going on at Who Bangin' Sports Talk so everybody knows what's up before we get an MLB.
Oh man, Who Banging is beyond me, man. We got all our guys, all raised out of your chat right here, Jimmy, all raised out of the Lowback family and all that. But these guys are getting on camera. They're doing a good job, man. We got Ick Snizzle and Jimmy Gomez every Tuesday doing the live sweat. They go live, they live bet, they hammer stuff. It all started in NBA, but now it's expanded to they live betting NBA, WNBA, and horse racing all in one night for about 5 hours of fun. So that's been one of the funnest shows. If you would have caught me on there this week, you would have seen Grandma Franklin. If y'all go rewind that, Grandma Franklin came and paid us a visit. I didn't tell you about Grandma Franklin. That's my connect. She's kind of like my wingman at the senior center. So yeah, she came through and blessed the guys, and they won some money that night. Nice. So that's going down. We got a fantasy show that's in the brew with a couple low baggers that we all know. It ain't quite resurfaced yet, but we also have my man Dylan. Dylan's going big on the UFC every Thursday night. Wham is doing the NFL. He's going to be doing NFL all year. He's done some breakdowns. You can go check those out. And of course, the boss in the sauce. You got to stay looking for the boss in the sauce. We're going to be getting at you on Saturdays now. Me and Big Ragu, just a few games right before the game start. But we did some breakdowns of the Power Fives. You can go take a look at them. We did a really good job because me and Big Ragu have been doing this for about 5 years now. It was fully comfortable. We did 14 teams in an hour and 20 minutes.
Beautiful.
So we did a good job, and I broke it all down for everybody piece by piece. So if you want to know what we have to say about some teams and some season totals, season total is not something I really do, but there's some key ones in there. It's mostly unders because you want to rely on injuries and all that stuff to work in your favor. But we put some of those out. Of course, we all know we got Parlay Tease, who's over here a few times a week with the WNBA. It's going down to the last part of the WNBA with Tease, but we're going to be jumping right back into things with Wham Talk with the NBA and then college basketball hangout with T. So it's that favorite time of the year, Jimmy, where everything just comes all together. But shout out to my team, though, because they just firing off like, sometimes I don't even know what's going on. And it's just going on like they having a private back room. You guys got to talk to them about letting you in there, but they having private basically Zoom meetings, watching UFC, betting it live, all together off, it's on camera, but it's not live. It's not recorded. It's just a bunch of great cappers together, sometimes 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. And they in there making money. And I was just strolling through and bumped into them like, what are y'all doing, man? They like, oh yeah, we just cashed a plus 200. So shout out to those guys, man. And that's what, Who Banging is all about. It's just, we sort of a spin off of my man Jimmy the Bag and all the stuff he does because he blessed us and did everything to help us out. And we're just here to keep the capping community together, man. We lost a lot of great cappers throughout the years, and that's what Who Banging here. We're here to keep all the OGs, the new Gs, and everybody here so we can make this money, Jimmy.
I love it, man. Respect. Love what you guys are doing over at Who Bangin'. And can you please let everybody know where can they party with you this weekend? What sports book you gonna be at in Vegas?
Oh man, I'm chilling over here. I'm kind of, I'm in the countryside, the country club side of things, man. I'm over here near Summerlin at the Suncoast. So you can catch me out in the book tomorrow for a few games. I had to bring out some of my new ND gear. Every year I gotta have my new Notre Dame gear. And I'm going to have some fun with that game. Ironic, the Notre Dame first game of the year in Dublin. But that Dublin game was supposed to happen years ago. But, I'm happy for it, man. Way to start college football. Going to be a great year for me.
I love it, DJ Big Boss. Thank you for making the time for us while you are in Vegas. Please give my love to your sweet, sweet fam and get that cash, my man. Follow DJ Big Boss on Twitter at DJ Big Boss and Team Who Bangin' Sports. Any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
That's it, man. Just keep showing up in the chat, man. Keep enjoying each other. Keep building great relationships. Keep Jimmy the Bag in your life. It always helps out. But you know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it going, man. That's all, man. We don't have at this point, nobody has an expiration date of when we going to stop betting and capping. So we in it to win it. So stay with it. Stay involved. Holler at me if you want to get more involved. Make sure you show up to Publipalooza 3 too in Texas coming up this next year. We're going to do it big.
I love it. There he is, DJ Big Boss, and our NFL breakdowns. It is time to move on to MLB, and we've got to work quickly. We've got to keep a brisk pace through these games, and I can't wait to cap the card with your next guest. Milwaukee Brewer draft pick signed by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now capping baseball with us every second Friday on Betting with the Bag. He will be hosting all next week. Say Hey Plays of the Day. Please welcome from Dallas, Texas, Dabby Cab to the show. Cab, how are you?
Jimmy, chat, everybody, what's up, man? I'm doing good. Not too hungover this morning, which is good.
Sure.
I was a little worried I would be, but I'm good. I'm good to go. I'm ready to make this money today.
Let's get right to fucking work. We got to keep a brisk pace, and we got to get that cash. Finally, a strong day for me yesterday. I need to keep it rolling. I've only made one bet. I'm on the Orioles. I got them last night as soon as I could. I do think the line might have been out for about an hour. I was so caught up in football. Might have been out for an hour. I know when I woke up, I'd beaten the line moved by 18 cents. We'll see what it is now. But let's get right to work. Dabra Cadabra, Dabby Cab joining us. We got 15 games. We got to keep a brisk pace. Let's go. We start with 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Houston Astros 72-57, 37-26 on the road at the Detroit Tigers 58-69, 27-35 at home. Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. I would be remiss if I didn't mention SoCal Lily's performance on your show yesterday. I think we need Jose. Can you just get SoCal Lily up there so we can just at least bless our action here? Yes, with the chocolate cake, please. Can you get that up here, Jose? I need it. I'm trying to focus on. I would like to get the work done, but I think I need. I need it in my life. At your leisure. Actually, not at your leisure. Let's get it up there as soon as possible. So there it is. Yeah.
You know what's crazy is, look, that's a great picture, and she was awesome. But Jose, where's the backside, bro? Come on, we need an ass shot. I sent you some of. I'm talking 10 of 10. That's all. I had to tell her too yesterday. I was like,
yes.
Actually, Dave told her. He was like, Cab's an ass man, and I was like, yeah, Lily, 10 of 10.
You also asked her if she would follow you back. That was
Look, man, I didn't have any food in me, and I had some alcohol in me. I interrupted Dave a few times. I might have hit on the guest a little bit.
Okay, let's go back.
Shit happened, okay?
I'm not proud of it. Let's stay focused. Stay focused. But yes, let's get an ass shot up there, Jose, at your leisure. Let's get the ass shot up there. All right, let's get to work. 6:40 p.m. Houston Astros, Detroit Tigers. We're at Comerica Park. Framber Valdez and Matt Manning. 73 Fahrenheit, 4.2 miles per hour out to right center. 4.2. See, I'm using my peripheral vision, expecting to see the ass, and it's not coming up. But I will let Jose, and I would like to be focused, Jose, and it will help me focus if we just get the ass shot out of the way. Trill OG play of the day is here. Astros -1.5 from our guy LJ from H-Town. LJ from H-Town. LJ, we talked Mike M into capping NFL preseason, and he's 7-0, LJ. Come to the dark side. You'll like it here. Bet preseason football, LJ. We need as many of us betting it. Okay, let's get over to the ballpark pal expectation of a Comerica here. -4% homers, +4% doubles and triples, +11% runs here. Let's get over to the line history and the cash flow quickly here. Let me get the cash flow over to MLB, and here we go. Okay, so at Comerica, Manning versus Valdez. Over at Pinnacle, we have Houston at -171. They opened up at -167, a 4-cent move towards the Houston Astros, just a 4-cent move towards them. Let's move over to the total and check out. Oh, Jesus. Thank you, Jose. I needed it. Now I'm focused. Now I'm ready to go. Catchy unmuted mic. Episode 4. She seems lonely.
I just want to rest my head and take a nap.
Let's go over to the total here. This total is sitting at 9, and is juiced to the under, but it opened up at 8.5. It opened up at 8.5, and it lasted there for 2 hours and 20 minutes before it moved to 9. But it dropped back to 8.5 this morning. So we've had some yo-yo with this total. At this total. So then let's take a look at the cash flow. We have 48% of tickets, 53% of cash on the Tigers. I mean, that explains there's no market movement. Then from a total perspective, 90% of tickets, 85% of cash on the over. And yet the yo-yo here. A Trill OG play today, Astros -1.5 says Astros 16-1, last 17 is a fave, more than -150 coming off a 4+ run loss. I like that angle that LJ has there. That angle makes sense. Framber Valdez coming off an ugly start, 10-3 loss at home versus the Mariners. He's got a 3.55 ERA, 1.33 whip on the year, but he has struggled at times on the road. 4.43 ERA. He's allowed 11 home runs over 65 innings. He's only allowed 5 at home, but 11 on the road. Matt Manning has been bad at home. Now, the sample size is small. You'd think a pitcher who's throwing 64 and 2/3 would have thrown more than 19 and a third at home, but that's the case. 6.05 ERA at home. He's allowed 5 jacks in those 19 and a third, but he's coming off a really impressive start at Cleveland. 6 innings, just 1 earned run, 2 runs total, but 1 earned run, 2 Ks and 1 walk. Astros are hitting just 246, 713 OPS versus righties, and that number better get up. It better get up, or the Mariners are going to win the division. Tigers versus lefties, 198, 637 OPS. They're not hitting lefties. Astros bullpen still strong, 2.96 ERA in August, despite what happened yesterday in that 17-1 loss. Tigers bullpen, 3.77 ERA. Take it away for us, Dabby. Cab, Framber Valdez, Matt Manning, Astros, Tigers.
You know, this is an interesting game because with Valdez, you know, my initial thought is, as somebody who bets first fives, I'm like, oh, I can get a decent number on, you know, just a regular run line in the first 5 for the Astros here. But they've just been too inconsistent for me lately. You know, they've won just 4 of their last 10 games. I mean, look at what the Rangers have done. And, you know, we're talking about a half game difference right now. Maybe it's a 1 game difference. I'm not sure, but they're right there neck and neck. And, you know, you'd think this would be a kill spot for fucking Valdez and the Astros, right? You've got, now that they've got Verlander back, Valdez, I guess you could kind of call him the number 2, but you got your number 2 or maybe your number 1 on the mound here in a spot where you really want to win and need to win. This should kind of be cutthroat, and it makes me really want to jump on the Astros first 5, but Valdez has struggled lately. He's given up 15 runs in his last 3 outings, and that's just over 19 and 2/3 innings. And, you know, something just doesn't, it feels too easy. So I haven't bet it, but that's where would be the first 5 with the Astros.
I would like to back the Astros here full game. I'm surprised there's not more money on them. You hear Mike stats, you hear LJ stats. Why would this be a 50-50 spot here? Yeah, I'm going to have to leave question marks beside the Astros. I expected to back them today, but I thought the line would be pushing in their direction. I thought the mark would be all over them.
It just feels like a kill spot for them, right? Like they need this. They got Valdez on the mound. Like, you know, the Tigers aren't as bad as they've been in the past, but you've got a team that you're absolutely better than. There's no excuse for the Astros not to win this baseball game right now.
Yeah, it's
now it's baseball, so obviously I'm not sitting here telling anybody this is a lock or any of that dumb shit. I'm just saying this is a kill spot in my opinion.
But you have trepidation.
I do. Yeah, I might get there on this. I might take the first 5 when we wrap it up and we give out our bets. I might put the bet down on the first 5.
Okay, let's move on at this spot. Kong's Clip says, you hear her first. Don't put Houston in your parlays. Detroit is ready to bust it up. Mike M said, Houston run line spot here. Parlay it with the over. Mally Mouse is because they lost 17-1, so people scared. See, I would think the opposite, but maybe that is it. But I would think of the opposite. Let's roll on. Next up for us is a beauty in at the Trop. New York Yankees, Tampa Bay Rays, and we have none other than Ron Crawford to lead us into this. Ron Crawford is on the Tampa Bay Rays -122, and it is his wife's Wendy's birthday, and we love Wendy so much. Shout out to both Ron and Wendy, and happy birthday, Wendy. Okay, LJ from H-Town, Trill OG play today number 2, and the big booty Latina play in action here because Londo is on the over 7. LJ says Trill OG play today number 2, Rays money line. Says 7-1 at home on Fridays. First game of the series, 3-1. First game of the series versus division. Yankees 1-4. First game of a road series versus division. Let's cash. So let's move this over here. Let's break this one down. We'll start with the money line here. We're keeping a nice pace. We got to keep this pace going. We have Eflin sitting at -128. We know what he's done at home this year. 6 cents of movement towards him from -122 to -128. Let's pull up the total in this one. The total is sitting at 7, and it's juiced to the over. It's a -117. This opened up at 7.5 and dropped to 7. Then it came back up to 7 again at 9:09 a.m. and it's moved back at 11:30 back to 7. So we're sitting at 7, juiced to the over. Robert Freeney says these Yankees are cooked. They're horrible at base running, among other things. DC Capper on the Rays minus 130, and Justin McElvey bet the Rays money line and them to take the series here last night. Mal says Rays did me bad last 2 days. Team total over first 5. Mal says Rays should hit Cole. Let's talk about that right now, but let's also start with the cash here for this one. 40% of the tickets and 97% of the cash on the under. Well, we've seen it go from 7.5 to 7. I would, I guess I would be more confident in that under if that 7 was a pick 'em and not, juice so much to the over, but maybe they don't want more under cash. Interesting. From a money line standpoint, you have 52% of the tickets and 61% cash on the Tampa Bay Rays. 1777 more memorabilia. So the Yankees are a public team. So when the market moves against them, take the Yankees. Eric Jones says Rays in a 6-4 straight up spot. Garrett Cole going up against Zach Eflin. So Garrett Cole, 10-4, 3.03 ERA, 1.07 whip. The most important thing, let's get Jose up here too, if you can, for your Garrett Cole breakdown, because he just got lit up by the Red Sox. The Red Sox are, his daddy. Is he going to bounce back here? That's a crucial part of this cap. Do we expect an elite pitcher to bounce back here? Then on the road, he's been so good all year. 2.62 ERA, 220 opponents batting average. He's allowed just 4 jacks over 68 2/3. Zach Eflin, 13-7, 3.58 ERA, 1.03 whip. At home, he's been amazing. 10-3, 3.05 ERA, 223 opponents batting average. Now, those numbers have taken a bit of a hit in the last 6 weeks, his home numbers. His last start was very nice. 18-4 win at the Angels, 6 innings, 1 earned run, solo shot. Yankees versus righties, 200, 637 OPS. Rays versus righties, 305, 874. They're ripping the leather off the ball right now. Yankees bullpen 3.87 ERA. Rays bullpen starting to fix itself a little bit. It had a terrible start of August. 4.7 ERA since August 1st. Let's start with you, Jose. Garrett Cole bounce back. Do you expect it?
I actually kind of do. The Rays are obviously a team that owns him as well, but G-Man Choi not on the Rays anymore, and that was one of the big guys. That was always hilarious. 4th time against the Rays, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, or 6 runs, 5 of them earned. Those last 2 were back-to-backs early in the season. So it's kind of tough to say that's the same Rays team. That last start is more recent, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 8 Ks, 2 walks, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see that again. I actually like the under in this game. I haven't bet it. I could have bet it last night at 7.5, and I didn't. So I'm good.
So you are off at this point.
Yeah, I'm off. I lean Rays, but nothing doing here.
Dabby Cab, big one for the AL East. Take it away, Yankees Rays.
Man, so that those 6 runs in that one game are what are boosting this so much, obviously. But Cole has a 5.25 ERA over his last 4 outings this month. I mean, he hasn't been great at all this month. And I tell you what, it's just, for me, this Yankees team is, they're embarrassed right now. They're demoralized, right? This team they just got done. How many games did they lose in a row? 8 games in a row. And where you got the other side, the Rays, they're battling for first place in a playoff spot. And I don't mean to constantly talk about the fucking playoffs, but now is a point in time when we got to start taking this shit into consideration, because like I said earlier, baseball, anything can happen. But like when you're looking at what I'm calling kill spots for certain teams that like really need to win, like, it lines up so much better. I couldn't bet the Yankees here. I would only bet the Rays. And at 7, you could probably get a team total at 3.5, maybe at like minus 115. I wouldn't have a problem with the Tampa Bay Rays team total over 3.5 right here.
I don't know how exactly I missed this, but I missed it. This, that this opened at 4 and the under 4 was plus 105. First 5 under 4 plus 105. That should have been an immediate bet. That moved 28 cents by 8 this morning, and then they moved it to 3.5, and then the 3.5 right now is minus 102. I have to let this go because I missed it. That 4 at plus 105. I don't have any real excuse for not betting it. I see it now. I see that this could easily be a playoff type game. But the Rays are hitting too hard, and I'm going to have to stay off here. And I trust Garrett Cole's character. One of those beauties that got drafted in the first round, but wanted to go to school. Now he picked UCLA. Then he got picked first overall. Matty McLean did the same thing for the Reds. He was, picked in the first round out of high school. Then he went to UCLA. I trust Garrett Cole's character. Now he's not an invincible pitcher. I don't think he's. I love when Jose fades him and when he.
I feel like you've been fishing since you started talking about Cole. I feel like you're just trying to pull Jose back up here.
I believe in Cole. I like his character. I always have. I loved him on the Pirates. Oh wow, I did not see that. Thank you, Lamont Williams max bet. I've got the max bet here from our guy BJ. I've got that locked in here. Let me get this. I've got so many copy and pasting. So I've got that all locked down. But I guess I'm gonna have to stay off of it. So a max bet for Rays first 5 over 3.5. That's wild. I did not see that. Thank you. There's. I expect the Yankees offense to only have Judge leading it, and I understand why people are backing the Rays and BJ's best bet on the Rays and Ron Crawford, but I guess I'm off. I guess I'm off of this spot. Part of me also is, needing the Orioles to win the division and hoping that the Rays lose here. So Alfred saying Cole would give up 1 run, maybe 2 for Yankees to win. Judges the Yankees offense. Okay, we're going to move past this game right now. Nothing for you here, Dabby?
No, sorry, I was beating. Okay. No, nothing here.
All right. Titans move to -1, Brett. Ooh-wee. Feels like a win. I got goosebumps. All right, let's move on. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. JR, Lamont's max bet was the first 5 over 3.5. And I did not know that. Thank you, Justin. I love the way it just feels like such a team. And it feels like our teams just get stronger and stronger as we go forward. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Washington Nationals, 59-69, 30-33 on the road at Miami Marlins, 65-63, 37-27 at home, Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. It was tough to stay off the Yankees yesterday, and it was helpful that I did. Yeah, BJ. Let's get the motherfucking gosh. Yon Adon and Braxton Garrett going up against each other. Adon looked bad in his last start. 4 innings, 6 earned runs, 8-7 win at home versus the Phillies. We've seen how bad he's capable of being. And he's got some okay stuff. Braxton Garrett on the other side, he's not being very good at home. He's coming off a nice start at the Dodgers, though. He's been good on the road all year. I've been waiting for him to start shoving at home. The Nats are hitting lefties. We had Joe Yurkovich talk about the type of dog the Nats are. Browns Hughes on the over 8.5 here. There's our guy, Troy Torrance. So Nats, Marlins, Lone Depot. Roof is going to be closed. We can go right into the line history here. We'll start with the money line. The money line here is the – oh, shoot, sorry, that's the wrong game. Sorry, let me move back over here. The money line here is the Marlins at -215. There's been a 25-cent move to the Miami Marlins. Who in their right mind is fading these Washington Nationals as a big dog? I mean, it just – now I guess Yoan Adon is the person that you want to fade, but my God, this is a team that's starting to actually print money for their backers, especially on the road, especially as dogs, especially against lefties. This total is sitting at 8.5. It opened up at 8. It lasted there for 8 hours. So no one has an excuse if you like the over for not getting that 8. Let's take a look at the cash flow then. For this one, we have 15% of the tickets and 57% of the cash on the Nats, but the market's not moving towards them. And then we have 37% of the tickets and 71% of cash on the under, but the market's moving to the over. Justin McAlee has the Nationals team total over. DC Kepper on the Marlins on the run line. Nate Dogg in Washington on the run line and the money line. So we have it all set up. Marlins bullpen's being poor, and Nats bullpen's being a little worse. The Nats are hitting lefties much harder than the Marlins are hitting righties. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab, Nats, Fish.
So I agree with what you were saying about the Nationals here in this spot. For me, what that makes me interested in, though, is just possibly a first 5 over. If I think the Nationals are going to put up runs, even though the Marlins, I think they have like here it is, 256 team batting average, which isn't bad by any means, but they just struggle like with runners in scoring position. They struggle to produce runs, which can be very frustrating. All that being said, if I think that the Nationals are going to score a few runs here and get to Garrett just a little bit, Garrett's been the most productive pitcher for the Marlins this year. I mean, he's kind of been their guy. But I just kind of see there's some runs here, Jimmy. I think we're looking at 3-2 or 3-3, something like that after 5 innings.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't trust these bullpens either. The problem is that, again, are we going to take a line at 8.5 when we could have taken it at 8?
Right. No. Yeah, I don't like that at all. And, I tell you, shout out to Memorabilia in the chat. He said Miami is 6-0 against the Nats this year. That's one note that I did have written down there. Yeah, Miami has absolutely dominated this series this season. For what it's worth, right? Every time you bring something like that up, the other team's going to win.
Yeah. Eric Jones seeing 8.66 runs. Wonder what Professor Chris sees in this one if he's still around. So you're leaning to the over. Did you get to the window with the over?
No, I've got a few bets today, but I'm not a 7 bet a day kind of guy. On Saturdays on college football I am, but not, or college basketball, but not. I'll have probably 3 bets here when we get through this.
I'm interested in this over. I'm interested in the Nats team total over. It feels
is the
like
team total 3.5.
I'll check it out right now at my book, but it feels like it's a public spot, and the bigger bets are on the under, sure. But look, this is moving towards the over, so it's like the books are not. The books seem concerned. This is not the best line you can get. I'll see what it is at Pinnacle, but here at Bet365, it is 3.5 juiced pretty heavy to the under, which means I bet Pinnacle will be giving you a plus line on that over 3.5.
I don't hate that bet. I mean, I always say this 3.5 runs, that's just a big crooked number. Anybody can get that in any inning.
3.5 at plus 105 at Pinnacle. Why would it be plus 105? Troy Torrance says he thinks this is an under. I mean, the big bets are in that direction, but this market's moving pretty quick to the over. Mike M says 6-1 type win under.
Man, if you think somebody wins 6-1, why don't you just take whatever side that is? He said Miami. I mean, you should bet Miami then, right, Mike? If you think they win 6-1.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to be on Miami because he gave us the Yohan Adon 2-12 straight up, 1-13 the run line, losing by 3.36 runs on average. Brian Watson, what do you mean the 4 minus 115? Take another look. We're talking Nats and Marlins. Bet 365 has over 3.5. I'm on it right now at team total minus 105. So, okay. I don't want to go up against Mike and Troy. I mean, that's just not a winning situation.
Mike said his under was for my 3 bets, motherfucker.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I just now saw that. Hey, listen, Mike, I could give everybody a quote unquote pick every game, but that's not what we're here to do. So I just tell you guys what I'm actually betting.
Okay. I'm going to need more time on this one. I need more time. If you Adon with the eye test, you're like, he's got some pretty good stuff, but he just maybe doesn't have the mental makeup. Okay, let's move on. This is the only move I made. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. The Orioles did me proud against the Jays, man.
They did us proud, Jimmy. Us loyal Orioles backers.
I was happy that you came back to us and didn't screw it over. The Orioles have heart and intangibles and everything you want in a baseball team. They run the ball. They run the base pass well. If anybody, I'm sure there were some of you on Arizona like myself last night. 0-0 loaded bases in the 7th inning. Jace Peterson goes off the wall. And the question is, do you score 2 runs or 3 runs? The ball's bouncing off the wall. You see the Diamondback fans cheering. I'm like, okay, I'm going to cash this. And then there's like confusion on the base pass. The guy was held up at third. And then he sees the guy, Jace Peterson, going up to second, but someone's on second. And then, so the guy at third then decides to run home. And you just know at that point, like Corbin Carroll saved them with that 2-run shot late. What a monster he is. Now, that's his first homer in a month. But those types of mistakes, Blue Jays make those mistakes. Losing teams make those mistakes. The Orioles don't make those mistakes. Real Video says the Rockies actually look good versus the Rays, even though they lost. Yeah, they didn't look bad. Mally Mouse says, I hope Orioles don't struggle versus some bums like the Rays, man.
What you just said is like, you sounded like, for that split second when you made that comment, losing teams make those mistakes. You sounded like, every good coach that I've ever had. Like anytime you make those kind of fucking mistakes, you can't win baseball games and do that shit. It's just that simple.
Yeah. All the momentum goes to the other side. They're like, look at these bumbling idiots. Let's beat them. Yep. And the Orioles just don't do that. And do the fact that the Rays are 2 games back, the Orioles went into Oakland and were all business. And now Colorado's going to come to town, and they're going to be all business. You bet them -1 every single game. You bet it as soon as the line comes out because the market's going to move heavily towards them because they're going to win each and every game here. Now, Kyle Freeland can be very good on the road, and he's a danger here. And Cole Irvin, I mean, his numbers are what they are. Cole Irvin's looked really good since he's come back into the rotation, mind you. I got -192 on the money line, and I got a +110 on the run line. That gave me a -139 -1 line. Pinnacle opened this up this morning at 8:16 a.m. It was, Bet365 came out last night. They opened it up -205. It's now -213. Interestingly enough, though, once this line came out, there was a move back to the Rockies. So this went down to -193. But I'm very happy with where I'm at. And with the Orioles, it just doesn't really matter to me what the market is doing. The Orioles win in spots that aren't their spots. This total is sitting at 9, juice to the under. It did drop to 8.5 for a little bit. But it opened juice to the under. So at this point, we still have a 1 cent move basically to the over. So we have a big move to the O's. How are the O's hitting lefties? They're smashing them, Joe. Smashing them again. Since August 1st, 284 with an 809 OPS. Saturated said, does Jose have a stink on this one too? He does, but look, the stink doesn't affect the Orioles. This team is all business. Let's pull up the cash flow and then also the weather. We talked about the market moves. There's light rain in the forecast in the middle of the game. This Orioles bullpen is so strong, and I want Freeland out of the game. So I would welcome a few innings, a couple hour break in this game. 87 Fahrenheit first pitch, 5.4 miles per hour, right to left slightly in, and then it just becomes completely right to left. A Ballpark Pal has this here. Oriole Park plus 12% home runs, plus 9% doubles and triples, plus 14% runs. And we have cash flow on the over, 88% of tickets, 65% of the cash, but there's been no movement. On the money line, 98% of the tickets are on the Orioles. That's awful. 98% of the tickets are on the Orioles. I hate being on side like that. And 90%
I've been waiting for our guy Nate in the chat, Jimmy. Nate just got a membership for 10 months. So, and I don't mean to interrupt you, so I'll be real quick.
It's all good.
I get to San Antonio, and this is sitting on my fucking bed.
That's dope.
Yeah. And I go up to Nate, man, and I'm like, man, thanks for the shirt, Nate. I really appreciate it. And in true Nate fashion, he's like, oh, it was cheap. I'm like, Nate, thanks for the shirt, man. Like, thank you.
Nate's money in the bank. What a great squad we have. Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Troy Torrance's Orioles fit the description. Big home favorites, catching the line move, public and money on them. Eric Jones says Baltimore in a 9-1 spot, the 9-1 straight up spot. Kyle Freeland, he can be good. 11-5 win at home versus the White Sox in his last start, 5 innings, 4 runs. He hasn't been great since he fell on the mound and separated his non-throwing shoulder against Logan Webb in the Giants. I was watching that game from Nutflush Allen's house. On the road, he's got a 5.40 ERA, 3.02 opponent's batting average. I mean, he's not being good there. Look at that. 61 2/3, and he has 22 strikeouts. 1-9. Cole Irvin is pitching quite well right now. He's pitching quite well right now. At home, his numbers aren't good, but he's pitching better. 29 1/3 at home, 5.52 ERA, 283 opponent's batting average. Look, the Orioles are bringing him out there and using a 6-man rotation to have him out there. Thank God it's 6-man rotation now because of the Flaherty issues. Rockies against lefties, 208, 593 since August. Orioles, 284, 809. Rockies bullpen, 7.77 ERA. Orioles, 2.82. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab, Rockies, Orioles.
I mean, I like what you're doing, and it's obviously been making you money, and I can't disagree with it at all. And, this is the Orioles, I don't know if you want to call him the ace, but he's been doing great lately, as of late. So like you said, he's been pitching much better. I think this is another spot where if you even miss the -1 for the Orioles, maybe you can get like a -1 in the first 5. So I talk about that a lot of times with betting baseball. I'm not really scared of a push. And, if I could tell you right now that you could get the Orioles, -0.5 a run at -110, you'd probably be like, oh yeah, I got to bet that. I love that. So why would I be scared of taking a -1 at -106 or something like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. With the Orioles, though, they're all business. And I only took them on the -1 line every game in the A series. That game 2 was 2-2 into extras, and the Orioles won 7-2.
Yep.
So I want 9 innings when I have a team that I trust to be locked in. Brandon Hyde's doing a hell of a job. And as much as we hate the owner of the Orioles, I really like that here we see a coach with the bottom cell, like the horrible baseball team. As soon as they get good, they bring in some professional, some guy who's, but they let Brandon Hyde reap the rewards of all his hard work. I like it. I like it. Mark Schillenberg, I missed that, but no, don't follow anybody on 10-unit bombs. Okay, let's roll on. Troy Torrance moving on to -1.5. I'm on the Orioles -1, -139. That's the only baseball bet I made pregame. Let's move on. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Cardinals 56-72, 28-35 on the road at the Philadelphia Phillies, 69-58, 36-25 at home. We're at Citizens Bank Park in Philly. What a great, great city Philly is. Let's take a look at the weather here first. Pull this up with the weather. Okay, here we go. At Philly, it is 85 Fahrenheit. Feels like 90, 5.5 miles out to left center. It drops to 3.6, but it's hot, and the weather is offensive. Plus 37% home runs tonight. So for those of you who are looking at player props, offensive player props, plus 37% home runs. -1% doubles and triples, but plus 14% runs. There are 3 parks tied. Oriole Park at plus 14%, Citizens Bank Park at plus 14%, and PNC Park at plus 14%. Comerica third at plus 11%. Ricky Bobby on Bryce Harper over 1.5 bases and the homer. Troy Torrance says the line's telling me about the Cardinals. I'm not doing it. Morgan Spooner is, though. Oh, no, says careful betting -1.5 on the home team. I love -1s on home teams, though. Love them. I love them because you get that much extra juice on the 1.5. But I hear what you're saying. Okay. Troy Torrance says, but certainly says Cardinals are live as fuck. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. The Cardinals against the Phillies. First off, we'll start with the total, sitting at 9.5. This 9.5 opened at -110. It's now -103. We've had 7 cents of movement to the over. 7 to the over. Let's go over to the, here we go, the money line. No, it's sitting at, sorry, I've got to move this over to money line. Let's take a look at the money line for this one. We are sitting at -135 for the Phillies. They opened up -136. They're now -135. There's been no movement. Let's take a look at the cash flow. We have here 72% of the tickets, 89% of cash on the Phillies, and the market is not moving towards them. That's wild. It's 50-50 on the total, and there's 98% of the cash on the over. How many tickets are we talking? 5,248? That doesn't make a ton of sense. Let's go back to this total again. Oh, 7 cents of movement to the over, but just 7. It's never left that 9.5. That is strange. Philly Backwood says the Michaelis is trash. And Nasty Nate says, let's be clear here. It was cheaply made, not inexpensive.
Right. And that whole story, he didn't tell me that. I thought he was just trying to tell me not to say thank you. Like, I thought he was basically just like, don't say that.
Oh, that's funny. So funny.
Nate's bougie as fuck. I don't know. I've roomed with him several times. Actually, he's been my roommate every time I've gone to San Antonio, I think. He's bougie. Like he needs all the finer things in life.
Miles Michael is 6'9", 4.55 ERA, 1.30 whip, coming off allowing 7 earned runs over 4 2/3 in a 13-2 loss at home versus the Mets. On the road, he's been good this year. 3.72 ERA, but 279 opponents batting average. But he's only allowed 8 jacks over 77 1/3. He's not getting the strikeouts this year, just 47 over 77 1/3. Christopher Sanchez has been good. 1-3, 3.36 ERA, 1.03 whip. He's been good this year. 58 Ks to 12 walks, a nice K to walk ratio. Last start at the Nationals, he was good again. 2 earned runs over 6 innings. We know what the Nationals are doing against lefties. At home, though, he struggled a bit. 4.36 ERA. He has allowed 10 home runs at home, just 1 on the road. Cards versus lefties, 234, 712 since August 1st. Phillies versus righties, 276, 866. And both bullpens are pitching quite well, especially the Phillies bullpen. But the Cards bullpen is much improved. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab. Cardinals, Phillies.
Before I start, can you go ahead and get me a line on the Astros first 5? I can't stop thinking about it, and I need to focus on the rest of the fucking games that we're capping.
I will do that. But while I'm doing that, take it away for Cards, Phillies.
Gotcha. Okay. So, this is another spot where, I want to talk about a team that has just been nothing but a disappointment. The Cardinals are going nowhere this season. At this point, they're just trying not to finish in fucking last. And Michaelis, he's been somebody, last season I liked to bet. I got behind him quite a bit, but, just turned 35. And I think this season has kind of showed that, he's struggling, man. I think he might just be about done. I think it's about that time for him to go ahead and hang it up. In his last 5 starts, 0-4 with a 5.61 ERA, just over 25 2/3 inning in that span. He's going against a Phillies team that has motivation to try and get the top wild card spot. I don't mean to sound like a fucking broken record, but this shit is important to me. It's important. It should be important to anybody that's capping. They're fighting for a spot. Their dugout should be picking each other up. They're not in the dumps like the Cardinals are. This Cardinals team is fucking dumpster fire. It's what it is. Phillies played well at home this season. They're 36-25. Sanchez is just not somebody that I'm excited to back. If it was anybody else on the mound, I would have already bet the Phillies in this spot. But I'll give Sanchez his credit. He's looked a little bit better in his recent outings. And the Phillies, like I say one more time, they have full motivation coming into this game. They're at home. I would take the Phillies.
It's a very fishy line.
Isn't it, though?
Very fishy. I know we got to keep a brisk pace here, but I would just like to see Sanchez's last home starts. We're talking about a pitcher who's allowed 10 home runs out of 11 at home. Is that in his head? Cardinals aren't really ripping the leather off the ball against lefties, but I would like just to take a quick look here at Sanchez's numbers before we move on here. Sanchez, lefty, here we go. His last home start, it was good against the Twins. The one before that, he got lit up by the Royals. And then the one before that, he was good against the Royals. I don't need to be involved in this one. I don't really trust Sanchez. This line is fishy. We can get you the Astros first 5 -1/2, -117 at Pinnacle, -118 at Bookmaker.
Okay, go ahead and put me on that. I'm going to bet that.
You are locked in. So we have a move from Dabby Cab. Astros first 5 -1/2, -117. Let's move on. Deacon Mike, Troy Torrance, saturated. Chicago Cubs, 67-60, 32-30 on the road at the Pittsburgh Pirates, 57-71, 31-34 at home at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have Kyle Hendricks going up against Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller. We haven't seen her in a minute. Let's get her up here. There she is. God, she looks poised. She looks strong, but see no evil, hear no evil. Hendricks versus Mitch Keller. Let's pull up the weather here for this one. And Helen has been a roller coaster ride. 76 Fahrenheit, 8.9 miles per hour out to right field, 8.9 to 5.8. Take a look at Ballpark Pals' expectations of offense here. Oh, we talked about it. PNC, most offensive part, were tied. Plus 6% home runs, but it's plus 21% doubles and triples and plus 14% runs here. Reclaim James says, fuck both these teams. Yes, Professor Chris. And I asked if you were around for something. I can't remember now, but I asked. I was like, God, I'd like to know what Professor Chris thinks of this spot. Which one was it?
I feel like this line's fishy, man. We want to talk about fishy lines. This line stinks like fish.
Well, let's take a closer look at it here. The total for this one is at 9. It opened up at 8.5. It lasted at 8.5 for 21 minutes before it moved to 9, and it has stayed at 9. But it is juiced to the under, pretty heavily juiced to the under. Let's take a look at the money line then for this one. Okay, I got the run line up for 5, so let's switch over to the full game money line. Let's see what we are dealing with. We have these Pirates at plus 103. They opened up at plus 102. So we've had no movement. Slight move to the over, no movement on the money line. It's interesting that the slight movement to the over is there because, 60% of tickets, 78% of cash. I guess that's expected. And then 30% of the tickets and 42% of cash on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Oh, look, Tony Soprano in the house, man. Tony Soprano's been too long. He was a big part of our chat when I was down in Costa Rica. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. Kyle Hendricks against Mitch Keller. Kyle Hendricks 5-6, 3.83 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. In his last start, he went 6-30, allowed 1 earned run in a 4-3 win at home versus the Royals. On the road, he's been excellent all year. It's at home where he struggled, which is strange. 2.86 ERA on the road, 207 opponents batting average. He's only allowed 4 jacks over 15 a third. Mitch Keller 10-8, 4.22 ERA, 1.28 WHIP. Helen coming off a nice start at the Twins. At home, Helen's got a 3.53 ERA, 235 opponents batting average. The Cubs are hitting hard, 264, 828. The Pirates are hitting decent against righties, 235, 741, and both bullpens are middling. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab. Cubbies, Pirates.
Like I said, I feel like this line reeks. Chicago beats up on Pittsburgh. They always do, even in seasons where they've struggled. Like if you look at last year, this season right now, Cubs have won 6 of their last 7 played on the road versus Pittsburgh. And Cubs have won each of their last 7 overall versus the Pirates in total. Like I said, it's just one of those spots where they kind of beat up on this team. And if you look at their last 6 games versus Pittsburgh, they've won each of those games by 2 runs or more. Like they're not coming down to the wire. They're beating the shit out of them. So it's kind of one of those things here. I don't understand this line, and it makes me want to jump on the Cubs money line because it's, affordable here. But at the same time, why the fuck are the books giving us this line? And Keller hasn't been good lately. I know at the beginning of the season he was doing well, but more of late he's been just, terrible. And I think he's kind of been a fade.
Last 2 starts have been pretty good. 3 earned runs over 12 innings, 19 Ks and 14 walks. I mean, that last start at Minnesota was a thing of beauty. 12 Ks, 1 walk. But
yeah, I guess I'm thinking about.
No, but you were right. He had a stretch there from July 18th to August 3rd. So
that's what I was about to say. I guess I'm, time sometimes gets up on me. I'm thinking of a couple weeks a little further back than those last 2 starts. So, but yeah, it's just what I saw there was more of what I kind of expected from him this season. Cubs here would be the only way I could bet it.
Against the opposition, these Pirates, some of them really get to him. Hayes batting 400 over 15 at bats. I guess that's about it. Reynolds is 208 with a home run, but they've got 4 home runs off of them. And then against Keller, you have Happ batting 438, Swanson batting 571, Bellinger batting 500. The ribeye play of the day is in Suzuki. Copy and paste that. Professor Chris, numbers 8.68 runs on this one. Wow. It's making me think that Keller is rolling right now. 12 strikeouts in his last one at home here. Hendricks has been good at home, but the market's moving towards the over, which is I'm gonna just put a question mark beside it, but it'll be Pirates first 5 question mark. Professor Chris says Kelly's pretty good with the season X FIP of 3.7, just gets too much contact, too many fly balls. Okay. And Rodney Barton says, according to Ballpark Pal, extreme advantage for Bellinger today. Yes, Pedro Diaz, there's a site to find weighted runs created plus Fangraphs is a good one, but there's a whole bunch of them. Fangraphs is just a great site all around. All right, we'll move on. Next up for us, the Toronto Blue Jays. 7:07 p.m. Eastern, the Guardians 60-68, 27-35 on the road at the Blue Jays. Now 70-58, 32-27 at home, Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario. It's funny, I still fear this baseball team. I'm so thankful I don't have futures on them, but we know they have high-end talent, and they have a really light schedule, except they play the Rays, I believe, 7 times over the last 10 games. I don't have that in front of me. Huh. Wow. But they lose in division. They don't seem to play intense, and they're a tough team to be a fan of. And there was a time there a week ago I thought
I don't like them, Jimmy. I don't like them. I don't like the way they play baseball. I'm just going to say that the last few times I bet on them, they haven't burned me or anything. But just when I don't like how they play the game. I don't know how to explain it. They're I don't want to say lazy, but they remind me of the Padres. Anyways, go ahead. I just had to say that.
I hear you. And the base running mistakes they make are wild. Danny Jansen, not running hard, beautiful hit, not really running hard for a second, and then he goes for 3. I mean,
literally, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I like Danny Jansen, but just errors, mistakes, mental mistakes. Jays open up -154. They're now -148. They're not hitting right now. They're not hitting righties. I wonder if this is a chance for Bybee to shove. Let's go over. I wonder if the roof is going to be open. It was raining all last night, and let me just do it. That's so important because we know that the ball does not fly when the roof is closed. The Kikuchi versus who is he up against? It was against the Phillies. I was so drunk at that game. Wheeler, Kikuchi Wheeler started. No, was Kikuchi Wheeler? Yeah. It was such a. When the roof is closed and you have 2 good pitchers on the mound, get ready to cash your under. But when the roof is open, it's very, very different. The ball soars much better. The weather today, precipitation 15. Okay, yeah, the roof will be open. That is a crucial piece of information. Plus 14% homers, plus 11% doubles and triples, plus 6% overall. Wow, BJ says Titans -1.5 now. Let's fucking go.
How much have been moving since we've been on here?
It's been great. Tanner Bybee, Chris Bassett. Let's get over to that total. So we've seen 6 cents of movement towards the Guardians and Bybee. From a totals perspective, this opened up at 8.5. We've had no movement. Opened up juice to the under, still juice to the under. Then let's go over to I bet you it's just them saying Mac Jones won't start. Bet you that Belichick admitted that Mac Jones wasn't going to start. Mac Jones. All right, let's go over to 56% of tickets, 87% of cash on the Guardians, 6 cents of movement towards them. From a total scenario, 32% of tickets and 61% cash is on the over. Ronnie and Maria. Oh, I love it. Bybee 9-3, 3.01 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. His last start, he allowed 3 earned runs over 5 innings and a 4-3 loss at home to the Tigers. He's a bet on at home. He is questionable on the road. 4.04 ERA, 276 opponents batting average, but they're 4-1, or he's 4-1 in those starts. Going up against Bassett, who's been very good at home, 2.83 ERA, 180 opponents batting average, coming off a quality start at the Reds. Bassett's bet on. Guardians versus righties, 252, 695. Neither team's hitting righties. Both bullpens are very good. Why is that? It's Mac Jones. Mac Jones, 17.7 memorabilia. He's starting quarterback for the Patriots. Take it away for us here, Guardians, Blue Jays. I wish the roof was closed. Roof was closed, I bet the under immediately. I don't trust these offenses at all. What's your take here? Take it away, David.
If the roof was closed, I'd bet the under. I agree with that completely. If I was going to make a bet on this game, I would still bet the under. The Blue Jays, I know their lineup is top 10 in batting average, but like, again, we talked about it. They just make base running mistakes. It seems like they don't hit at the right time, and it's things just seem to getting worse. And I think the dimensions of the park, I think these new dimensions are hurting them as an offense. I mean, if you look, their stuff is, noticeably lower batting average at home. Slugging percentage drops. It's just hurting them as a team here. So, and I've said this all season, and I stick with kind of like what I think, especially if it works. Cleveland is not a team that I back as a side. I will take unders with Cleveland, and that's it. And I think if you've been betting unders with Cleveland, just like if you've been taking, first 5 overs with the Rangers, you've been cashing tickets. So I would go under in the first 5 in this game. I don't think I'll get to the window with it though.
It seems like sharp money's on the over. Public is on the under, and it's not appealing to me here. Remo says when the roof is open, the over hits more in Toronto. I don't have those numbers, but we all know that the ball carries when the roof's open. So if you go back to like a 2016 against the Royals in the playoffs, there was a huge push from the people in Toronto to have the roof open. But it was a little too cold that time of year, and we knew that we had the power. Batista and the boys had the power over the very professional Royals, and they wouldn't open the roof, and everybody wanted the roof open just because the ball just carries when the roof's open. So it's
why wouldn't they open the roof? You think was it just like a power trip, or they try what the fuck?
It was just a little too cold. They have rules about when they do it. I don't know. They're not going to let, I guess, the public just kind of push them into it. Nate Dogg says Blue Jays being called out by Gossman and their manager in the last 2 days. Well, I get it, Nate Dogg, but certainly didn't change anything last night. Get out to that lead and we take it back immediately. I'm against the Jays just because I'm a Orioles fan now, man. Charm City, baby. All right, let's move on. Guardians, Jays, it feels like there's sharp money on the over, and I do not want the Jays, and I don't want Bybee on the road. I don't want to fade Bassett at home. So this is just a no for me. Let's move on. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Angels 61-67, 29-34 on the road at the New York Mets 59-69, 31-28 at home. We're at Citi Field, Queens, New York. Patrick Sandoval versus Kodai Senga. I don't mean to harp on, and I know that I called Ohtani dumb just because that was not my own thing. Like I've heard people talk about him.
You called him what?
Dumb.
He's like, and did you mean it like as in like he's stupid?
Yes.
Okay.
And he has now cost himself about $250 million.
Well, when you put it like that, Jimmy,
he could have easily had the sign and trade lockdown. Now look, I'm sure 200 and 250 million is fine. But that's what he's done. He has done this to himself.
Well, and you know what else too? Like as a competitor myself, like I can say that I kind of do understand. Fuck the Angels organization, man. That's not all on his shoulders. Like it's hard for me to get mad at an athlete for being competitive, but it's easy for me to get mad at an organization who was clearly running him in the fucking ground. Like the fact he would pitch the first game of a doubleheader and then was still in the fucking lineup the next game is just absolutely ridiculous and irresponsible by the Angels.
I'll stake bet you right now, Jimmy, that he gets over 400.
Oh, yes. You're on.
Okay. Done.
You're on. What kind of ass clowns would do that? Now, the Angels might. But nobody else would be that stupid. We know what it's like. I mean, I don't have time. I've got to keep this show tighter. And but Dabby, can you touch on the difference coming back from one Tommy John and coming back, because this is his second Tommy John that he's going
to? There's kind of like the knowledge out there that after you come back from the first one, you actually, if you rehab correctly and if you are able to get back in the same shape after the first one, you throw a little bit harder. The second one's not the same thing. This is dangerous territory for him, and I hope he comes back. He's a once in a generation talent. He's once in a lifetime talent that we're getting to watch. This sucks. I mean, it sucks, but we'll see, Jimmy. This is not going to be if it was his first one, I would have no worries. I'd be like, he'll be back in 2 years. No big deal. But since it's his second one, it's going to be a little tougher to come back from it.
We're going to get the best example here with DeGrom. When DeGrom comes back next year, we're going to have another idea of what it's like to come back from but listen, Jose, you want to pay Ohtani after 2 Tommy Johns. What is he? He's a DH.
I think this is the worst bet you've ever made with me. I think this is worse than the Tiger Woods Masters bet. This is bad. I think he gets 450 minimum.
Oh, this is perfect.
Don't worry, Jimmy. It'll only take 1 year for you to get your stake if you win.
This is perfect.
I'm still waiting on my 2 stakes from Jimmy too. So don't worry, Cab.
Oh, okay. 2 wrongs make a right. I see where we're going with this.
Don't worry. But no, this is the worst bet you've ever made.
Oh, you're. It sounds like I'm talking to a child who has a favorite baseball player. It sounds like I'm seriously. It sounds like I'm talking to an 8-year-old who's wearing an Ohtani jersey, saying that, "Oh, don't worry, he doesn't need Tommy John surgery. Let me just blow him in the back." That's what it sounds like.
400 million guaranteed.
Oh my God.
No doubt about it. Whether he's a DH for the year, and
you guys are children. You guys are children. Up 5. Showtime will get plus 500 million.
Why did you decide to put your jersey on backwards?
We'll talk about that later.
You guys are children. If you think that he's worth any close to that amount of money, you're just fanboys. Fanboys. That's all you are. Okay. Fly White Mike agrees with Jose. Nobody over the age of 40 will agree with you guys. Now, children will agree with you.
So you're a child until 40?
No, I'm telling you that nobody over 40 will agree with you guys. Nobody over 40 will agree that Ohtani's worth that amount.
Oh, it's not a you guys. I'm not involved in this one, Jimmy. I'm not on a side either way in this one. I think he might have this. I think this is this was a bad mistake for him for the organization and him to push it this far. We didn't need this.
Look, but look, Judge can play in the field. Ohtani can't. The only team that will give him upwards to 400 million will be the Angels, so that he can do Tommy John and take the year of rehab, and he's comfortable in Anaheim because I don't know. I guess he's afraid of the spotlight. Lucas Ryan says there are people under 40 much sharper. I'm just saying that value is not in the eyes of the beholder. It's a numbers game. What can people do? And if he can't. If he's going to be a DH for the rest of his life, Jesus. Okay. All right. Let's move on. It'll be fun, though. It'll be fun. Okay. Angels, Mets. And I didn't mean to call Flying White Mike a child, because that sort of is the way it came out. I just think that
I was appreciating it, because I was just thinking, I was a little bit of a dick last night when I was drunk, and I was like, well, he's calling Jose a child. He's calling the chat a child. Keep going, Jimmy. It makes me feel better about being a dick last night.
I just truly think that any older person will realize that his value is decimated. I
think it was a very bad mistake to run him into the ground like this. I'm not going to act like I didn't see it coming, though. I could have seen that coming from a mile out. I'm shocked that they had Trout and Ohtani in the lineup as long as they did. This is what we knew was going to happen.
You have to be a huge Ohtani fan to not see what has happened here. That's all. You just have to be
back on track.
Okay. All right. Angels, Mets, Citi Field in Queens, New York. Pimp Slap play today is in New York Mets under 8.5. Patrick Sandoval up against Kodai Senga. Let's take a look at the weather here in this one. We have, that's the wrong one. Let's take a look at the Switch Analytics and a Ballpark Pal. We have 76 Fahrenheit, 6.7 miles per hour to left field. Stays between 6.7 and 5.5 miles per hour. Let's take a look at Ballpark Pal here for this spot. We have heard already from Mike. Pimp Slap play today is on the under. Angels Mets. What do we have for this City Field? Plus 14% home runs, minus 12% doubles, triples, minus 2% home runs. Go over to the line history then for this one. We'll start with the total as we've heard from. Oh, that's the Cubs total. Sorry. Let's start with the total as we heard from Mikey that he's on this under. It opened up at 8, moved up to 8.5, which is where it is now. So we have a half run move to the over. And let's go over to the cash flow. We have on the money line here, we have Pinnacle holding the Mets at minus 156. Open up minus 160, now minus 156. And cash here, sorry about that. Let me get this up. Cash flow here for this one. We have it 50-50. There's only 1,324 tickets out. So it's 50-50 on the total with no money. 89% tickets, 91% cash on the New York Mets. Okay, Patrick Sandoval, 6-10, 4.08 ERA, 1.45 whip, 102 Ks, 55 walks, 9 homers. In this last start, he went 4 2/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, 2 earned runs, 0 homers, 4 Ks, 3 walks, and 18-4 loss versus the race. Yeah, Christopher Comtini, that's the most important thing. He's a DH. I mean, that's the most important part of the whole financial situation. That, that's the reason why, it's just, and how important is it to have the DH spot available so you can rotate rest for your players? You can't have one guy playing. The days of Edgar Martinez being extremely valuable are gone. Kodai Senga, 10-6, 3.19 ERA, 1.25 whip. Last start was very good, 13-2 win at the Cardinals. At home, he's got a 2.63 ERA, 184 opponent's batting average. Angels versus righties, 210, 632. Mets are hitting lefties since August 1st, 266, 771. They're bullpens have both been terrible. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab, Angels, Mets.
Man, shout out to Rim Most. I just wish we had the coach. We had a Mike Gundy's clip where he's like, "I'm a man. I'm 40." That shit would have been perfect. But back to this game. Two teams that have been nothing but a disappointment this season. Everybody thought the Angels were, going to be all right. Then they let us down like they always do. The Mets, same shit. One thing with the Mets that's something that's important to watch out for is when teams sell off the way that the Mets did. Sometimes different people get opportunities that they really usually wouldn't get. And when they get those opportunities, you see some teams win some ball games with these people because they're just happy to be on the fucking ball field, if that makes sense. And I've kind of seen a little bit of that with the Mets, as bad as they are. I've kind of noticed that. They played pretty well recently. They won the series over the Cubs, Pirates. They won the series over the Cardinals. Now, I know those aren't world beaters, but who else isn't a world beater is the Angels. So it's not a stretch to say that I think with Senga on the mound at home here, I think the Mets would be where I'd probably make my bet.
What do you think about that under?
Yeah, I mean, I would always support an under here, or maybe even a Angels team total under, or I'm not a strikeout props guy, but I think you could get Senga's strikeout prop here, and I wouldn't hate that.
Or even the first 5 under. Ronnie and Berge says Ohtani went from being Babe Ruth to simply Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper can play in the field. But you guys, I did phrase that wrong, Lucas. Obviously, you're 29. You're not. I just mean the idea that Shohei Ohtani still has all this ludicrous value is nobody, no old person would think that about a player who's going to DH for the rest of his career. That's all. People being around it. We know that the 5-tool players have all the value, and you're coming off your second Tommy John surgery. How many innings do you think he has left pitching?
I mean, how many good innings does he have left?
How many? Do you think he throws 500 more innings in his career?
No, look, I'm an Ohtani fan. Okay, like I think he's the greatest baseball player possibly to ever play the game. Like this sucks, man. I think he really fucked himself here. He
does not have. I don't think he's got 500 more innings. Jose can bet me on that as well. I just look. It'll be fascinating to see what his value is. He's an extremely popular player.
Look, I know you probably feel a little bit bad about saying it, and You said you're sorry to the chat, but look, we're all men here, okay? Regardless of if you're 21 or 47 in the chat, we're all men here. And if we can't have some fun and have a little bit of a disagreement, I don't know what we're doing.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it is what it is. It is what it is.
I'm not 40. You just called me a child too. You've called me much worse. I can live with this.
Okay, let's go on. Pimp Stop play today is the under 8.5. Under 8.5, and I do like the. I just don't understand why it's gone from 8 to 8.5 so fast. Okay, let's roll on. Let's roll on. Let's roll on. Next up, 7:10 p.m. Eastern, Los Angeles Dodgers 78-48, 35-27 on the road. The Boston Red Sox 68-60, 35-28 at home. Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. Lance Lynn against Cutter Crawford. Let's bring on host of Say Hey Plays of the day, young Jose Bouquet, who's been climbing out of the hole that I hope to also climb myself out of. Lance Lynn, Cutter Crawford here. Let's take a look at the weather in Fenway. We have, let's pull this up here. 69 Fahrenheit, 7.7 miles per hour right to left, 7.7 to 7.6. Jose has talked about the importance of this series as there's so many Red Sox, ex-Red Sox playing for the LA Dodgers right now. Minus 11% home runs, plus 14% runs. Plus 14% doubles and triples, minus 1% runs here. And Reclaim James on the Dodgers. Kenny Ken. I love that we all cashed that Diamondbacks nerfy last night. Kenny Ken.
Kenny.
Yeah, shout out to Kenny Ken. Okay, Billy Friedrich on the Dodgers run line. Clips. This one's gonna stick with me, I think, for a while. Whatever. I'll have to deal with it. Totals wise, here we're sitting at a 10. We're sitting at a 10. This opened up at 10.5, so we've dropped a half run on the total. And then from a line history, from a money line standpoint, let's get that up here right now. We are sitting with the Red Sox at plus 111. Plus 111. They opened up plus 115. So a slight move to the Boston Red Sox. Slight move to the Red Sox and a move to the under. We take a look at the cash flow then for this one. We have 39% of the tickets and 89% of the cash on the under. And we've seen it move from 10.5 to 10. And from a money line standpoint, 27% of tickets, 48% cash on the Boston Red Sox. Lance Lynn, 99, 5.60 ERA, 1.36 whip. We've heard Sharpie break down in really impressive form why Lance Lynn is pitching so much better. Coming off that very easy double up we had on the first 3 under and first 5 under when he went up against Corbin Burns. Now, Corbin Burns had the last laugh fucking us over with Kenta Maeda 2 days ago. 75 in the third, 5-5, 5.8. Oh, who cares about his road record? It's bad, but he's a different pitcher here with the Dodgers. And it is the left-handed bats that Jose will talk about if they have left-handed bats in this lineup that can get to Lance Lynn.
Oh, buddy. Lefties for days.
Cutter Crawford coming in a nice start at the Yankees, but he struggled at home. 5.95 ERA. It's strange that he has 8 home runs allowed in 39 and a third. Dodgers righties 276, 778 OPS. Red Sox 278, 816. Dodgers bullpen 2.55 ERA since August 1st, while Red Sox 5.52. Take it away for us here, Jose Bouquet, Dodgers, Red Sox.
This is the biggest series for the Red Sox in quite a little bit now. Not even standings wise, just for the front office, for the fans. This series has been talked about for now 2 years. This is Mookie Betts' return back to Fenway Park. I'm very anxious about it because I know for a fucking fact that Mookie Betts is about to come into Fenway and just drop his hammercock all over the Red Sox. He is just going to rake balls this whole series, and it's going to be disgusting. And I'm going to want to throw up, projectile vomit, the whole 9 yards. So I'm jumping on the Mookie Betts train immediately. I'm going to bet Mookie Betts props every single game against the Red Sox here. Every single one, because I think he's going to just crush him here. So I'm on Shot to Rocco. I'm on Mookie Betts bases 1.5. I got minus 130. He's got minus 120. I took RBI plus 130 as well for Mookie Betts. But I have also taken the Boston Red Sox to win this game. As I have said again, this is a very important series for the Boston Red Sox. Those guys in the locker room, Alex Cora knows how important this series is because Mookie Betts is the greatest homegrown Red Sox since Ted fucking Williams. He is that good, he is that impressive, and he meant that much. Now, Lance Lynn, people have said he's a different pitcher. He's a different pitcher. All the fucking Dodgers told him to do is stop throwing all the other fastballs he has and start throwing just straight fastballs. And guess what? It's worked for him against the Milwaukee Brewers, who suck at offense, the Colorado Rockies, who suck at offense, the Padres, who are lifeless and dead and suck at offense, and the Oakland A's, who suck at offense. This is an offense that has plenty of lefties on their squad, including Rafael Devers, the next coming of Jesus Christ, Tristan Casas, Masataka Yoshida, and old friend Justin Turner, who is playing the Dodgers for the first time in his own right. The Red Sox win this game. This game will be a high-scoring game because I don't know what the fuck Cutter Crawford's deal is at Fenway Park. High-scoring game. Red Sox win this game. Mookie Betts goes to work, and it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I also thought about taking the over, but I believe in my Sox here.
Did you tweet out the Red Sox already?
I don't know if I did actually. I cannot think about it off the top of my head. I can definitely tell you that I bet I took the Mookie Betts. Yes, I did. I got plus 112, and I bet our Orioles obviously as well. But I got a shittier price than you.
Plus 112, and you got minus 130 on the over 1.5 bases for bets. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab, Dodgers, Red Sox.
Man, Lance Lynn has pitched so damn well since he's gone to the Dodgers, but I can't I'll never be able to get behind him. He could throw a perfect game tonight. I still won't fucking like the guy. I just think we see runs here. The Red Sox at home are hitting almost 290 as a team at Fenway this season. They're averaging nearly 5.5 runs per game, which is, almost a run more than what they average on the road. I think there'll be a lot of, emotions like Jose was saying, and I like the idea of betting Mookie Betts props, but at home in an important situation for the Red Sox, I'm not saying it's not important for the Dodgers, but they're not in the spot that the Red Sox are in right here. With all the emotion at home, I'd kind of probably lean Red Sox here because I still like fading Lance Lynn. But what I like the most is the first 5 over. I think we see runs, but I do want to say Crawford has been excellent over his last 5 starts. His ERA is just around 2.5 over his last 5 starts. So there is some, there's something to how he's been pitching lately.
This is the most confident I've been in the Red Sox all year. I'm going to admit it now.
I think so too. You know what? I think the Red Sox I'm going to have to do it, man. I don't like going against some of the great cappers in the chat like Billy Friedrich and some of the other people I saw in the Dodgers because those are great cappers, but I think this is a good spot for the Red Sox.
I don't know. I will admit, I'm very confident in the Sox. I'm obviously a Sox guy, but people telling me this is a different Lance Lynn. I'll read off those fucking opponents again. I really don't think this is a different Lance Lynn. The Red Sox best hitters are lefties here.
I don't think it's a difference Lance Lynn either. What Lance Lynn does is he has a good 2-seam fastball or sinker, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He gets ahead of hitters and throws strikes. And the last couple teams, when he's had these good starts, they have not done a good job of working the count. They haven't made him dig into his arsenal whatsoever. The moment he has to dig into his arsenal just a little bit, Lance Lynn gives up runs, just like always before.
And again, Milwaukee, Colorado, at the Padres, Oakland. Those are 3 of the 4 worst offensive teams in baseball, and then the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I get it. Are you making the first 5 over 5.5 at even money official cap?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Professor Chris barely on the Dodgers.
And by the way, Billy, I care about what teams Lance Lynn faces because when he faces a good team, he gets fucking crushed. Obviously, it matters what team he's faced so far.
Jose's on the Mookie Betts over 1.5 bases minus 130, Red Sox plus 112. Cab may move on the Red Sox. Is that something that's in play? But he's on the first 5 over 5.5 plus 100. Again, this total has dropped though. Okay. All right. Let's roll on here. Great breakdown, Jose. Very, very fun game. We'll all be keeping an eye on. Thinking of you in that Bets jersey. Wow. And we also heard from Rocco on bets over 1.5 bases. All right, let's roll on. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 37-91, 17-46 on the road at the Chicago White Sox, 15-78, 26-36 at home. Guaranteed rate field in Chicago, Illinois. We have Zach Neal with his first MLB start since 2016. Zach Neal is a pretty interesting character, and when he went over to Japan, do I still? Oh no, I guess I don't have his anymore. I had to shut everything down. But when he went over to Japan that first year, he was awesome, and then. I don't know if it was. I don't know what happened. It's unclear what happened. But then he started. He just fell apart in Japan for the next few years. But he had that first year where he was absolutely money in the bank. A 2010 draft pick here, and he has not started a game since 2016. He started 6 games in his life, and that first year in Japan, he was awesome. 12-1 in that first year. 12-1, 2.87 ERA, 1.17, 1.18 WHIP. He was a monster, and then things changed for him. Last year he was in Albuquerque for the farm club for the Rockies. He came over to the A's. He had 5.40 ERA, 4-1, which isn't horrible in the Pacific Coast League for Vegas. And he's come up and he's not looked good in the show. So there we go. Zach Neal going up against Dylan Cease. What a disappointment Dylan Cease has been this year. Let's start with the weather here in the south side of Chicago. And we have, pull it up here. 77 Fahrenheit, 6.2 miles per hour left to right and in, between 6.2 and 5.5 miles per hour. Ballpark Pal here. 17% home runs. Minus 9% doubles and triples, plus 5% overall runs. Going to the line history for this one. Got the first 5 up. Sorry about that. Let me move over the full game. We have, too many things up here. For the total, we are sitting at a 9 at a pick'em, and this opened up at 8.5. It lasted there for about 5 hours before it moved to 9, which is where it's been ever since. So we have a move to the over, and a move to the over, and here we go. Thank you. And let's take a look at the money line. We are sitting here with the White Sox minus 182. Minus 182. So this line opened up at minus 183. So we've had no movement. We have a move to the under and no movement on the total. Let's take a look at the cash flow then for this one. We have 44% of tickets, 78% of cash on the on the A's. And then we have 20% of tickets, 19% of tickets, 38% of cash on the under. Cease last start 5 earned runs in the thin air of Colorado, but he's been good at home. That's the one place you can trust him. 3.79 ERA, 238 opponents batting average. He's only allowed 7 jacks in 73 2/3. The White Sox aren't hitting righties. The A's are a little bit, 223, 730 OPS. A's bullpen 5.28 ERA since August 1st, while the White Sox bullpen 5.79. Take it away for us here at Dabby Cab, A's, White Sox.
Look, in the effort of keeping things moving, I wouldn't even know where to start with this game. I guess maybe I'd look at the White Sox, but I'm not betting them right now. It's comical that Castillo was able to stand up there, and I'm sure Jose loved it since he's such a Castillo fan. He stood up there and threw 47 fucking fastballs in a row to the White Sox. It was literally like he was going like this. Hey, here, it's a fastball. Like every pitch, he was calling his pitch right before he threw it. That's pathetic. And for me, I can't back the White Sox in any way, shape, or form. And I know that I've said this a bunch of times, but I don't back people in their first starts. I don't care how hyped up they are. It doesn't matter for me. Somebody's first start in the majors is not a bet that I'm going to make.
He did start in 2016. This is an old guy.
Oh, okay. First start this season?
Yeah, this is an old guy.
2016. He hasn't had a start since 2016?
Yeah, he was in Japan for 4 years. This is an old journeyman, the 2010 draft pick.
That's still the first start if it's been that long.
See, I teams rally around this kind of a pitcher, but It is the A's, and it is a bum fight. I said a move to the under. I apologize. It was a move to the over. I can understand backing Cease. I would be interested in the first 5 under, honestly, if this move wasn't going towards the over. I would be on it. But the moves towards the over, and maybe it's because the bullpens have been so bad as well. He has been a starter in his past. I wish. I kind of like that first 5 under. I kind of do. I mean, I can explain what goes on with these bullpens as to why. If we think Zach Niels could be okay against this horrible team. I mean, his last start was against the Orioles. I mean, it's going to be much easier. And look at that. Nutflush says, "Can you believe I got live bet at 7.5 in the Oakland game?" I guess the more I talk about it, the more I kind of like it. I just want to look at this first 5 total movement because, I mean, the public's all over this over. But the first 5, if I can trust Cease a little bit, this dropped to 4.5. So this opened at 4.5, quickly moved to 5, but then came back to 4.5 with all this money, all these tickets on the over. Huh. And then let's just quickly touch on what's your expectation on Cease today? Is what I need to know is your expectation on Cease. Move over here quickly and pull up Dylan Cease. I want to see his last few starts because this should be an opportunity for him to pitch well. I mean, it was a tough start at Coors. He's been bad this year. There's no pressure on him. He looked good at home against Milwaukee. He looked great at home against the Yankees. Why wouldn't he look good here? And then we don't need to bother forcing the White Sox to deliver any offense. Okay, I'm in. First 5 under 4.5. I'm in. Billy Friedrich says he should be good for the first 5, but I can't trust the White Sox pen. And Griffel doesn't know when to leave a starter in or take him out. Mike M says starters coming off loss as a favorite pitching in a non-divisional night game are 50-18 and 40 the under when the line is shorter than the previous game within the same series. I love that. Okay, first 5 under 4.5. I don't have a lot of action in MLB right now, so I'm here. Billy Friedrich is on Sox first 5 -1/2. Look, I get that look, but I just don't want anything to do with the White Sox offense. Let's move on. 8:10 p.m. Eastern, San Diego Padres 61-67, 26-34 on the road at the Milwaukee Brewers, 70-57, 35-27 at home. We're at American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yu Darvish, a pitcher that Dabby Cab has done very, very well with against Brandon Woodruff, a pitcher that I like very much, who did not look good in his last start and is only throwing 10 in the 3rd innings at home. I like Brandon Woodruff a lot. Let's talk about this one. Roof we can expect to be open here. The roof was open when it was 110 degrees. Why would it not be open when it was 76? So let's go to Swish. It's 76, 4.3 miles per hour in. Let's get over to the Ballpark Pal to see what Milwaukee is in this one. American Family Field plus 4%, home runs plus 2%, doubles and triples minus 4% overall. Go over to the line history for this one. I have the first 5 up, so why don't we just take a look at this one. This was opened up very juiced at 4.5 at some books. It opened up not that juiced, but juiced to 4.5 here, and it moved at Pinnacle, and it moved to 4. So we moved to the first 5 under. That's not a surprise, really, with Darvish and Woodruff on the mound and Woodruff at home, where he's had a small sample size of action this year. On the full game, this is at 8. So the first 5 has moved to the under a half run, but the full game went from 8 to 8.5 immediately, and then back to 8. That's interesting. So, we've had 2 cents of movement to the under full game. And then when we take a look at the money line here, sorry, I have too many things up. Let's get that up here. Oh, man, I have no idea where it's gone. Okay, I'll just pull this up and move this over to the money line, and I'll find it when Cab is breaking it down. So from the money line here, and I apologize for the pause there, we're sitting at minus 109 for the Brewers. So a move towards Darvish, a 9-cent move towards Darvish. Padres gone from plus 110 to plus 101. We get to the cash flow here. 22% of the tickets, 31% of the cash on the over, public on the under, and it's not moved. And then from a money line standpoint, 36% of the tickets, 46% cash on the Brewers. This is a tricky one. Darvish did not look good in his last start. Woodruff did not look good in his last start. Darvish's numbers on the road, same splits as he has at home, not as good as we know he can be. Padres aren't hitting righties. Brewers aren't hitting righties. Brewers bullpen's been very good. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab, Padres, Brewers.
Yeah, I as much as I, like the idea of getting behind my guy Darvish, and I'll even convince myself that the Padres aren't a dog shit baseball team, and I'll be like, Machado can hit, Soto can hit. I'll try and convince myself that these guys aren't as bad as they actually have been. But if I'm being completely honest, the Brewers have been on fire lately. I mean, they've been absolutely rolling, and they've got their guy on the mound here. This line, I think, should be more in favor of the Brewers, and I'm kind of shocked that it's not. As much as I want to convince myself to back Darvish, because I have had success backing him this season. I haven't had as much success as last season, but I am plus money on positive money when I bet him this year. One thing I could probably look at here would be a first 5 under. I know that number's low. It's probably at a 4. You might be able to get a 4.5 juiced, but I think the first 5 under. A lot of times when I've wanted to back Darvish, that's what would have cashed for me if I would have taken the first 5 under.
Yeah. Yeah, but I missed the chance at the 4.5. I imagine that Woodruff bounces back. It's amazing the Padres are so bad offensively in August with that lineup.
It doesn't make any sense, and that's what I'm saying. When I do get behind them, like I've cashed their team total over, and I've cashed first 5 overs with them a couple times the last week. It's just amazing. Like you just said, it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, I guess I stay off here. I thought I was going to move on that game, but I guess I'm just going to stay off. Let's keep rolling. 4 games left here, and I got to get through them quickly. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Texas Rangers 72-55, 30-31 on the road at the Minnesota Twins, 66-62, 37-26 at home. We're at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. First off, the weather at Target. Where is it? Sorry, give me a second here. 83 Fahrenheit, 10.6 miles per hour to right field. Stays between 10.6 and 9.5 miles per hour. Let's go over to a ballpark pal. Ballpark pal here for Target. -6% home runs, -3% doubles and triples, and -4% runs. -4% runs. Let's go into the line history then for this one. On the money line, we have Sonny Gray and the Twinkies at -114, which means there's been a move to the Rangers. They've gone from +115 to +105, a 10-cent move. It'd been more. The Rangers were -104, -105 at 8:16 in the morning. So a real legit move to the Texas Rangers. Let's take a look at the total here in this one. We have sitting at 8.5, over 8.5 at -118, opened up over 8.5 -106. So we have a 12 cents of movement towards this over. See if the cash correlates with that move to the over and a move to the Rangers. We have 35% of tickets, 72% of cash on the Twins. And then we have 59% of tickets and 75% cash on the under. Yeah, it's moved to the over. Professor Chris is not on this one, getting Twins at -108, Rangers at +108. Morgan Spooner, Rangers full game money line. Time for a W. Dunning will pitch well here. Dunning last start, 3 earned runs over 5 innings, 6-1 loss at home versus the Brewers. 2.98 ERA on the road, 242 opponents batting average. He's been phenomenal on the road. He's allowed just 3 home runs over 66 in the 3rd innings. Sonny Gray on the other side, 4 earned runs over his last 6 2/3. He's had a really strong season, and he's been great at home. 3.23 ERA, 233 opponents batting average. I'm surprised this has moved towards the over. And I'm a little surprised it's moved towards the Rangers, although I get it. Rangers versus righties 251, 773 since August 1st. Twins 245, 756. And the Rangers bullpen being much better than the Twins bullpen since August 1st. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab. Rangers, Twinkies.
This is it for the Rangers right here. This game feels like the most important game of the entire season for them. As somebody who follows them, this game right here right now feels like it carries a whole lot of weight, because I think the Astros get back on track today. I think Valdez pitches well, and I think the Astros win. And I think if the Astros win and the Rangers lose this game, it's just gonna cascade. I think it's gonna break the floodgates open, and that's not something that I really want to see. But I think there's a 50-50 chance right now at this happening. Because of the fact that I think this game carries so much fucking weight for the Rangers, I'm very close to betting them on the money line. But again, if they lose this game, I will do nothing but fade them for the rest of the season.
Yeah, the market is moving in a way I didn't expect, and I've got a lot of football action. It looks like I guess I'm going to keep it tight here. So let's move on. 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Cincinnati Reds 67-62, 36-28 on the road at the Diamondbacks 67-61, 33-31 at home. Chase Field. We know that the roof will be closed. We can go right into the line movement here at Chase. Brandon Pfaadt versus Hunter Green. This total opened up at 9.5 and not immediately. 3 hours took to go to 9. Then it got to 8.5. It's been 8.5 a couple different times, and this under 9 is really juiced. So we have a big move to the under. Big move to the under here, I guess. Hunter Green bounce back spot. Pfaadt. I think Pfaadt's coming off a beauty start, actually. Then we go over to Penny, and we have a big move to the Reds. Plus 142 to plus 125, 17 cents. Huge move to the Reds. Huge move to the under. This is all surprising. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. 56% of tickets, 94% of cash on the under, and we've seen it move drastically to the under. Get to all markets here. I'm down at the bottom of the page. Then we'll move over to the money line. On the money line, 47% of tickets, 88% of cash on the Reds. I mean, huge amount of money on the Reds. A huge amount of money on the under. Hunter Green's last start, 9 runs, 8 earned over 3 innings at home versus the Blue Jays. He got lit up and smoked. He's been great on the road all year. He's only allowed 3 home runs over 49 innings, 230 opponents batting average, 70 Ks in 49 innings, 20 walks. He's been fantastic. Pfaadt, I've told you guys, he's the number one prospect in pitching prospect in Diamondbacks organization. I like him. And I know his numbers are atrocious, but he was excellent at the Padres in his last start. He's been lit up and smoked at home, 343 opponents batting average. I know he's better than those numbers indicate. Reds versus righties is 223, 701. Diamondbacks 245, 695. Reds bullpen 4.15 ERA since August 1st. Diamondbacks 5.40. Not very good, but improving. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab. Reds, Diamondbacks.
I think you did a good job. I think this is the best 2-5 versus a 0-6 pitcher matchup that you're ever going to see. Like, I don't know how else to put that. Like, I don't think, too poorly of either of these guys. Green, sometimes when he doesn't throw strikes, is very, very, very hard to watch. But, Cincinnati's hitting below average this month, just 235 as a team. You look at what the Diamondbacks have done at home, 35-23 straight up as favorites, 21-12 straight up as favorites throughout the season, 63.6% in 2023. They've done good at home. Arizona, I think they could get to Green here. I think this is probably a spot for Arizona. It's hard, even though I do agree with you that I think that Pfaadt has better stuff than what we've seen, or can be a good pitcher. It's just really hard for me to back somebody who's 0-6. Because if it wasn't for that, I think I'd be on Arizona in some way, shape, or form here.
Wow, I think that the books have shown real uncomfort on this under.
If Green throws strikes, I think that under hits. I think it comes, and I know that's something real basic to say, but dead ass. If he throws strikes and doesn't give up free bases, I think the under hits.
I still don't trust Arizona's bullpen at all. First 5 under for me. I'm with Philly Backwoods here. First 5 under for me. There's Gary Tenebra in the house. Nice to see you, Gary. Mally Mal says, give me the Reds first 5. Can't bet. Pfaadt was simply spectacular in his last start. Okay, but now the Padres just aren't hitting. But I like this. First 5 under for me. An addition. 2 games left here on the card. We got to keep brisk and keep it moving. Big Ragu is on Seattle. First 5 -half -115. Says the M's just saw Singer 2 back August 14th. Miller first time versus this Royals lineup. Bryce Miller is pitching very well, and Brady Singer, as much money as he's made us this year, has been a little suspect of late. LJ from H-Town also on the Mariners first 5 -1/2. Says Seattle 12, 3-5 last 20. First 5 money line, 7-2-1 last 10, first 5. So we have Big Ragu and LJ from H-Town on this under. Move over here. Alfred saying Singer worked the M's. Kenny Ken also on Seattle first 5 -1/2. Okay. Royals, Mariners, T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Let's get to the weather here in Seattle. 2 games left on the card. 73 Fahrenheit, 6.6 miles per hour left to right, and in dies down to 4.2 miles per hour. Let's move over to Ballpark Pal. Their expectation of T-Mobile plus 2%, homers minus 10%, doubles and triples minus 4% runs. Let's get into the line history then for this one. For the total, for the first 5, it's up right now. There's a big juiced move to the under. And full game, let's go over there. Here, full game after Singer was so good, we are sitting at 8. This 8 opened minus 101 to the under. It's now plus 100. So it's a 1 cent move to the over. 1 cent move to the over. And then on the money line, we have the Mariners sitting at minus 170. They opened at minus 174. They're now minus 178. So that's where we stand. Let's go over to the cash flow for this one. We have 58% of tickets, 60% cash on the over. You have 5% of the tickets and 49% of the cash on the White Sox. Nutflush on says, I can't say a lot for obvious reasons, but KC definitely on vacation mode yesterday. Troy Torrance says, I'll let you know on the total in Diamondbacks and the side on Rays. I like that. Kenny Ken is Miller at plus 145 to record the win. So Singer just got lit up and smoked at the Cubs, and he has struggled on the road this year. A 320 opponent's batting average, 6.75 ERA. I haven't backed him on the road. He has shoved a couple times, though. Bryce Miller coming off that spectacular performance at the Astros, 3.29 ERA, 206 opponents batting average at home. The Royals are hitting right now, 296, 817 OPS. So are the Mariners, 271, 824 versus righties. Both of those stats were versus righties. Royals bullpen struggled as it has all year. 5.10 ERA since August 1st, while the Mariners are at 2.55. Take it away for us here. Dabby Cab, Royals, Mariners.
Yeah, and I'm going to be try and be quick on this since I know we're going to move. So I think the Mariners, I've been saying it, since the All-Star break, I think they've looked like I don't know how many times I've said this. They look like the playoff team of last year. I think the Mariners are rolling. I think that they're absolutely a bet-on team right now. I kind of look at the Mariners like if I was to try and give a comparison for how I feel about them, it's kind of like what you're doing with the Orioles. I feel like anybody who's been doing with the Mariners the second half has been making good money, and I think it's just going to keep being that way. I would only look Mariners first 5 here. They're averaging 4.74 runs per game. I think they're going to, as they get in their stride, I think Rodriguez, I think Crawford, I think a lot of these people in the lineup are just you're going to see their averages just keep going up. They're hitting their stride at the right time, which is, you can't say enough about how important that is in the game of baseball. Baseball is a game of swings, and I don't give a fuck how good a team is or how bad a team is. When a team hits their stride, shit can get rolling, and that's what happened with the Orioles. That's what's happening with the Mariners.
No doubt about it. A lot of love from the Mariners here in our chat. BJ says tough spot for both teams coming off road trip. I don't trust Singer on the road. Miller can be shaky sometimes, look better as of late. Pass for BJ. DC, Professor Chris, Nutflush Allen, all agreeing on the Mariners, but clearly there's sharp, big bets on the Royals as this line hasn't moved. I'm going to stay off of this spot. I have affinity for Singer, so I'm going to stay off of this spot. But LJ and Doc both on the Mariners first 5 -1/2, and then a lot of love for them on the full game here. Let's talk about the final game on the card, then put a bow on this show. 10:15 p.m. Eastern, Atlanta Braves. 82-44, 38-22 on the road. Giants 66-61, 35-28 at home. Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. The lack of bats is finally affecting the San Francisco Giants. They can't hit. They can't hit with power, and they've been struggling. This total opened up at 7.5, has moved to 7. It moved to 7. Now it's juice to the over, big plus to the under, and it only did that at noon today. So we have a move to the under. On the money line here, we're sitting with the Giants opening up at a plus 140. They're now plus 133. So we have a move to the Giants and a move to the over. Take a look at the weather here in San Francisco at Oracle. 63 Fahrenheit, 12.9 miles per hour to right. Always between 12 and 13. Ballpark Pal has this at minus 28% home runs, plus 8% doubles and triples, minus 5% runs. So Spencer Strider going up against Logan Webb. Beautiful pitching matchup. Strider coming off a couple great performances. The last one, 10 strikeouts, 4-0 win at home versus these very Giants. Logan Webb's last start was against these Braves. I struggle when pitchers see the opposition within 5 days. Maybe it's because I say that out loud. I don't know. Strider on the road, 3.31 ERA, 223 opponents batting average. Logan Webb at home, as always, is brilliant. 2.11 ERA, 223 opponents batting average. Braves are hitting 294, 883 OPS versus righties. Giants, 216, 611 OPS versus righties. Enough Flush on says, not so fast, Jimmy. San Francisco will have a better lineup, most likely by Monday. So far in August, the worst team in the league against righties, 216, 611 OPS. Braves bullpen starting to shove to 2.07 ERA. Take it away for us here, Dabby, Cab, Braves, Giants.
You know, if Nutflush jumped out there and said, you know, they'll have a better lineup tonight, it might have changed my mind. But, you know, he said Monday. It's not Monday. It's Friday. So right now, you know, looking at what the Giants have been doing, they're just 4 for 35 with a double and zero RBIs here against Spencer Strider. You know, and I think he could cruise through 5 or 6 innings in this game. I don't see any reason why he can't. I do, you know, Webb is great. I'm not trying to take anything from him, but if you look at the Braves, they're 126 runs created plus against right-handed pitchers in the last couple of weeks, whereas San Francisco is just 66 runs created plus against right-handed pitchers in that span. Just absolutely fucking terrible. I'm going to take the Braves here in the first 5. Everything just lines up. I don't know why I wouldn't. On the run line, obviously.
Braves first 5 minus a half for Dabby Cab. Let's take a look at what that number is and then review all action and put a bow on this show. First 5 on the run line. Let's see what we can do for Cab. We have that minus a half at even money at most books, but I'm certain that we'll get a better number if I go right to Pinnacle. I'll pull Pinnacle out. There we go. I'm certain we'll get you a better number if I go right to them than even money, which is available widely. The first 5 minus a half is plus 105.
No, beautiful
money here. Braves first 5 minus a half at plus 105. Interested to see what Nutflush is doing for this one. All right. Let's review all action here on today's card and put a bow on this. Jose, if you want to jump on with us for this final look through. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us. I got to be quick here. I got to get out of here. Counter-Strike Astralis from Lucas Ryan. I think that's probably already started, but he gave us a very easy winner yesterday, and he's going back to esports action for us. BJ says, hammer the Bills tomorrow. He loves that play. He's giving it to everyone early. We need to do best bets. Best bet, quick parlay, friends and family parlay from the 3 of us. Lamont Williams' birthday pick as well. We also have Fat Win dropping Australian horse racing here. I'm going to put that into the chat for everybody right now. And here it is into the chat. Okay, so here we go. I need a little bit more time with this Stamps Argonauts game. I'm interested in the under. I'm interested in the Stamps first quarter. I'm interested in the Stamps team total under. I just need a little more time on that one. With the BC Lions, I'm going to be on them first quarter and first half, and I'm going to take the Ticats full game team total under. The Redblacks Elks first half and full game over. First half, full game overs for me. Then here in NFL, I'm on the under 37 in Detroit, Carolina. I'm on the under 38.5 in the Titans +2. I've heard there's been a big move towards the Titans. I love it. And I'm on the over 37.5 in Chargers, Niners. In NCAA football, DJ Big Boss, he's on the Irish first half and full game. I'm going to move on the Irish first half. Big Boss is on Ohio +3. A public dog on the road makes me nervous. But I love Rourke. I'm going to need more time with that. Big Boss is on Vanderbilt -17.5, -104, and he's on USC -31 at -108. Justin McElvey's stacks play today is Dansby Swanson over 1.5 bases. Our guy UPK Ayash is on Marlins first 5, Yankees first 5, Astros first 5, Mariners first 5. Cab gets his card started with the Astros first 5 -0.5. Trilogy play today's the Astros -1.5. And number 2 for Trilogy is the Rays money line. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is the Rays money line. Big Booty Latina play of the day over 7 in Rays Yankees. And Lamont Williams max bet Rays first 5 over 3.5. And BJ best bet MLB Rays money line. I have some interest in the Nats team total over, but I got some cold feet. I'm on the Orioles -1. I got -139 on that. Cardinals, Phillies, no action for us. I have interest in the Pirates first 5. I'm not sure if I'll get to the window. Guardians, Jays, we stayed off. Pimp slap play of the day is the New York Mets under 8.5. Jose's on Mookie Betts over 1.5 bases in the Red Sox money line. Cab took the first 5 over 5.5 at even money. I am moving on the first 5 under 4.5 in Oakland, Chicago. Padres, Brewers, we stayed off. Rangers, Twinkies, we stayed off. I am moving on the first 5 under 4.5. It's moved to in Cincinnati, Arizona. Big Ragoos on the first 5 -0.5 for the Mariners with LJ from H-Town. And there's a lot of love for the Mariners in the chat. Cabs on the Braves, first 5 -0.5 at +105. And that is our show for today. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us. Tori Coker, Andrew G, Troy Torrance, Mike M, BJ, Arnillo, Rem Most, Nutflush, Alan, Kong's Clips, Brandon the Great, Morgan Spooner, Kenny Ken, Professor Chris. You guys put so much energy and insights and humor and fun to the chat. Phillies Backwoods, Darren Turner, Lucas Ryan, Billy Friedrich, Alfred 44, Reclaim James, LJ from H-Town, Markel, Kelly McInnes. Thank you guys. Philly Backwoods, all you guys, thank you so much. DC Capper, Macman BD. Thank you guys. Truly, we have nothing without you guys in the show, and you just bring so much to it. Dabby Cab, great job today, my friend. Great job last night on Unmuted Mike. Do you have any last words for the Cappers here supporting the show?
Oh, yeah. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Okay. Jose Bouquet, spectacular job. Jose, have a great time in Tennessee with your guys. Fly White Mike, thank you. And the pimp slot play that I'll put in the chat is the New York Mets under 8.5. That's gone from 8 to 8.5. Pop that here in the chat. Thank you guys so much. Jose, much love to us. Great work. All as always. Have a great trip in Tennessee. Do you have any last words? And can you please bless our show into the future?
Of course, Jimmy, I hope you enjoy your drive. I hope you don't get yelled at. I'm sure you will. Dabby Cab, good luck next week. Don't fuck up my show. Appreciate everyone as always. And if something happens on Tuesday, don't forget it's not me and Jimmy, it's Big Show and Pete. So blame them. Say hey, and we'll see you guys next time.
White open Torrance. Oh baby, touchdown! How do you leave the best receiver in the NAIA that wide open?
I am so excited to announce our brand new football show on Pub Sports Radio, Bankroll Blitz. We had an excellent year last year. 107 wins, 79 losses, hit at 57.5%, plus 19.2 units, ROI plus 10.32%, average line minus 111. But there's always room for improvement. There is always more money to make. And I can't wait to introduce to you my co-host this season, Troy Torrance.
It's good, Jimmy. Thanks for having me out, man. Super excited to be here and take this journey with you.
Oh, man, Troy, we are pumped up about this partnership. Troy, tell the Pub Sports Squad a little bit of why you are the star of this new season.
So there's really 3 things that my entire life has revolved around since I was a little boy. And the first thing is football. Played football my entire life throughout college. Was an All-American receiver and had some opportunities at the NFL level that didn't really pan out. But I'm proud of what I was able to accomplish. The second thing is my gambling background. For about as long as I've been playing football, I've been gambling. From playing Madden back in my high school days at a professional level, playing high-stakes cash games, winning Madden challenges, and fast forward after college, played a lot of 2-5 no limit, very competitively for many years. And around 2020, when COVID happened, casinos started shutting down. It's kind of when I got gravitated back into sports through a gambling lens. And it's a beautiful thing because that's kind of where I've been most successful. So I'm extremely excited to be here, represent the pub sports community, man.
You are a huge addition to our channel, and I'm so excited for this season. The season is fast approaching. You can catch us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Bankroll Blitz starts September 5th, baby. Let's go.